Ooh, what kind of announcement? Let me change. Yep, here we go. So, I cannot get Steam to open again. This is starting to become a recurring thing. I'm I'm wondering though if I'm allowed to watch YouTube videos while I'm doing this and put them on as background noise. Oh, not even Spotify wants to work. So yeah, the project might actually be cursed. I said that as a joke before, but it might be true. You see? Okay. Ah, come on. Ah. Work, damn you. Oh, for fuck's sake. First is a Japan. Oh, come on. I have it plugged in, right? I do not. I didn't have my tablet plugged in. Okay. Okay. That's totally on me. Pichu, electric type with 30 HP. Ooh. Pichu's so cute. Oh dear. Now it don't want to work again. Me and this tablet. Well, maybe it's the computer, not the tablet, but like we're getting into fights. We're fighting with each other. Oh my goodness. I just changed the battery on this pen too, so it's not that. Ah, here we go. Heal Link does 10 damage with 1 electric. Flip a coin, if heads, this attack does nothing. If tails, this attack does nothing. If heads, and if you have a basic Pokemon named Celebi on your bench, remove 1 damage counter from Pichu. Oh, sweet. Now it show Pichu walking on a branch in the forest area. Aww. Whoa. Didn't mean to do that. That's probably why I keep getting lost. I keep shuffling these things around. Takes me a second to find all my tools. I'm wondering. I should probably ask someone about this. I'm wondering if it would be okay uh, to put on a YouTube video and put it on so it can make some background noise because I don't like working in silence. Let's see. It's one of the few baby Pokemon cards where it can evolve into a basic Pikachu, and it's an e-reader. It is a Z29. By using the e-reader, it gives you a Pokédex entry, as well as a mini game, Kodo Truck. Oh, sweet. If you want to play some background music, go right ahead. I think as long as I have a link to the original video pinned, it should be fine, maybe. If I get like a strike or something, then that'll be my answer. All right, let's see. Just gotta make sure everything's moving around all right. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, let's see. I think like I can find an obscure video game or video game footage or oh, here's something. This is really funny.
When life gives you overripe bananas.
Overripe bananas. The horror. Nothing's worse than an overripe banana. And nothing's worse than when you need a banana right away, but Walmart sends you underripe bananas. Let's see, this card was one of the 6 available through the Pokemon Happy Adventures Rally of 2002, which ran in the Junior East Yamanote line from August 3rd to August 18th. Pichu could be obtained at the booth present at Shinjuku Station. I always wanted to visit Shinjuku. There's a lot of places in Japan that I'd like to go to. All right, let's see here. Here we go. But yeah, I needed bananas to make like some bread. And the bananas they gave me from Walmart were absolutely green, and by the time they were ripe, everybody ate them.
Stick a Land O'Lakes butter and bake the best star.
Oh, right. Let me get the link to the video here before I forget. All right, here we go. From Kuro promo Shining Mew. Psychic type with 50 HP. Oh, so cute.
Banana bread your book club has ever tasted.
Oh my god.
Like you own it.
This ad's speaking to me. I'm not in the book club though. I should join a book club.
The most strategic move is the one that meets the right moment.
As the doors open and you see these dark beady eyes as a hunched figure looks at you with crooked teeth as a gray rat looks at you.
This guy's really
and
funny.
says,
Flash search with one electric. Look at the top 3 cards in your deck. Choose one card from those cards. Ooh.
Then tell him we said thank you and we'd love to come
You'll
in.
feast with the master.
We'll feast. We're gonna
Will he
feast.
wait?
No,
He sleeps. To your rooms. To your rooms is what I said.
Rooms.
Follow me. Whoa, let's go.
Here
You
we
will
go.
rest until for you see it is the day right now above us.
How do you know?
I can tell.
Mystic Fire does 20 damage with 1 fire psychic and fire energy. Nice.
Source, I made it up.
That sounds so cool.
Just trust me, bro.
Good night again, Michael.
Thanks for everything.
Say good night.
We appreciate it.
Sleep well.
We're trying. We're really trying here.
You'll find this place is quiet as the grave.
Yeah, I can see that it might be if you'd shut up. You know, that'd be good. Let's
Is
start
it
there.
is it capturing the audio?
Night's sleep.
Let's start by you removing
Okay,
yourself,
yeah, it
and then
is.
maybe we'll see if it's as quiet as the grave. All right? God, I'm getting real sick of this guy. It's been like 10 minutes.
It gets as dark as a crypt.
Discard 1 fire energy card. Attach it to Shiny Mew in order to flip a coin.
Good night.
If heads, the defending Pokemon is now confused.
But
Tails,
beware a
defending
skeleton.
Pokemon is now asleep. Oh, nice.
This guy.
Can't discard cards this attack. Does not. If you can't discard cards, this attack does nothing. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Death reigns here.
That makes sense though.
why would you say that?
Oh, it's just me.
Are you sure there's
It's
no
me,
perverts?
the master, the coachman,
What?
and of course the dead.
Now we show Shiny Mew floating happily in
I'm sorry,
space.
what?
As you
Like
see
background
him, he's
cute.
carrying a tray rattling with 5
see.
wooden goblets. As he shambled over. Oh, how did you sleep?
We all had weird dreams, but they were just dreams. That's all.
Just dreams here, yeah.
How long do we have to?
Just the mind. Plain drinks.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm worried about the feast. Jean-Claude really worked up an appetite.
You will be feasting, yes, with the master.
Okay.
He eagerly
I've been
waits,
getting
but
really into D&D lately. I've
first we
had a
must
project I
prepare
wanted to do,
tradition
but
to begin
I needed to learn
our
more
night
about D&D to
by
make
drinking
be an
this.
adequate
Each
dungeon
of us
master.
drink a full goblet of blood, orange mimosas.
Got 2 of them because I've got 2 hands.
Oh, well,
Yo,
I
blood
can
orange mimosa
perhaps
sounds pretty
make
good.
Another, although the kitchen is on the other end of the castle,
I mean, if you
in the Forbidden Wings.
yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, that would be awesome. Because I don't want this hand to get lonely.
Oh, and my knees are so agonized lately.
Well, so seconded, I'll also have 2, but I do have a question. Why?
And the gout! Oh!
Maybe just another round.
Why is the kitchen in the Forbidden Wing? What is that? What's that all about? And why is it forbidden?
The Forbidden Wing?
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Ah, if I told you that, I would have to kill you.
In Japan, this card was available as an unnumbered promotional card.
Wait for the.
Oh,
the
okay.
Wait,
With a knife
wait for the shoe to drop. Oh, here it comes.
and pull your intestines.
No.
On an insert in the May 2001 issue of Kuro magazine, released on April 15, 2001.
I don't think he's joking.
In Roblox.
What the fuck is a Roblox?
Well, I can't get started on any kind of labor if I'm not significantly drunk.
I must be going.
The bell tolls in the cathedral of the dead. I must away. And he shambles off.
That was weird. Sir, are you all right? There's something wrong with your face.
Your
What
face
are
is
you
drooping.
talking
you having a
about?
heart attack or your face is drooping?
Oh, I think
How
that's a
many fingers
stroke.
in my-
Peggy's right. I saw my dad do this once. Does he even hear
I
himself?
think something's just wrong with them. I think.
I mean, look at him.
Those are the cards I got to
Have you
swap
seen
meet.
his face?
Sweet.
I mean, no.
You go first. You lead the way.
Thank you, Igor.
Who goes? My name is White.
You already said that.
Oh, and a fellow rat. No. I'm Wiggle.
Mm,
You Are you sure of
See,
that?
maybe a little more rounded at the bottom. Have the corner up a little bit.
Shouldn't you be leading us somewhere?
He sniffs all over
Sort
you.
of like almondy shape.
Over
At
you.
least that's what I was doing like in the full body art.
I have a nose for wickedness and evil.
So like
The master has been seeking a lawyer.
Well, oh, you can smell
I
that I'm
can
a lawyer.
smell the stench of
So should I just like
I'm
wait
Jungle
here until
Scyther.
we're fest for the
From
feast or
Jungle,
what?
Scyther, grass type with
You
70
have
HP.
leave of the castle,
I'm a little tired now.
but you may
Scyther is
go
really
anywhere
cool.
except the catacombs. Oh,
Okay. Sure.
for it is forbidden.
Okay, all right. Is there a reason?
Are there cats down there?
Isn't there like an episode where it was saying that Scyther
Oh.
hates the color red, but its
There are soldiers of the
evolution
Mocking
is
Lord.
red?
Sought to explore. Oh, they delved too deep. And
That's
they
about
died.
right.
In a manner of speaking, they ceased to live.
Sword dance with one grass during your next turn. Scyther's
Yes.
slash
I don't know why
attack
this guy's
base damage
speaking in riddles.
to 60 instead of 30. Oh, nice.
Hourly allotment of cheese.
Well, don't do it here. It's getting hard to look at.
My hourly allotment of
It's getting
cheese.
real sick of looking at you. It's hard to lay eyes on you. It makes my stomach turn.
Slash does basic 30 damage with 3 basic.
As you see Wygor,
No.
as he's shambling around, as he has a very fancy orange press, and there is a very fresh basket of blood oranges, and he's cutting it.
And he says, "Oh, Nexel asked me to make daiquiris using this margarita-filled machine."
There's a very pristine Margaritaville machine with fresh ice in it.
Yo, daiquiris
as
are
he's
so good.
It'll
The artwork shows shows Scyther in a green background. To look like a zoom up forest. Yes, there was an episode like that.
I meet.
Kind of ironic, isn't it?
Oh, it's just Booker. It's just Booker.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Today I watched both
You know,
episode
we
1
thought
of
about it,
Indigo League,
and we
season 1 of
realized,
Horizon.
You said that you have conditions, gout, all sorts of stuff, and we didn't want you to have to walk all the way back to
Oh,
us.
sweet.
And it certainly has nothing
Yo, I
to do
wonder
with
if-
the fact that we don't like you, that you're decrepit and you're too slow. We
Well,
wanted
my
to come
baby
meet you
cousin
halfway
is
to get
obsessed
those,
with
bosses.
Paw Patrol at the moment, but
I get restless.
Almost,
I
it's
almost
delightful.
returned you to life.
I think he likes Pokemon too.
The icon.
The old
Isn't that
episode
your
was
name?
Tentacool and Tentacruel.
My name doesn't sound anything like that.
Your name's Wygor.
It's Wygor.
Yeah.
Wait, say the other thing again.
With all
Okay,
these Hilton honors points, I
me-
could stay for free.
Let me save this real quick,
Canopy in Paris.
and then I'm gonna.
When you want points that can take you anywhere, anytime, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Ooh, big stretch. Hilton!
You can get anything you want on the internet. So why are we still
Yo,
taking
do y'all
giants
remember, like, the Hilton manager that got caught sucking people's toes when they slept?
I have a small request. I'm really not feeling a mimosa. Could you make a blood orangerita? Maybe a
Lady
frozen one?
Time episode was the band episode Beauty and
Yeah.
the Beach. I mean, the
I'm more of
last
a
time
tequila
episode.
girl
Oh,
myself.
okay.
Peggy, it's like 7 a.m.
Beauty and the Beach.
You, I'm not judging. I
It's
just...
5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, this is far more cumbersome than they let on the QVC.
No.
30 minutes.
It, it definitely happened. I'm not. I wish I had the talent to make this shit up, but it actually did happen.
Oh, confounded thing.
Wow, that's really loud, Michael. That's obnoxiously loud.
Icor? Icor?
Oh, why would there be pulse?
Bong.
Oh, they seek the icon. I must away soon. They grow restless.
You're awaying again?
He's being called by Taco Bell.
How often do you away? Like,
how do I know when it's done? Oh, I have to wait for the whole song. The entirety of It's 5 o'clock somewhere begins playing.
Next from Team Rocket, Meows. Normal type with 40 HP. Meow, that's right. There's a lot of things I remember vividly from the show. I don't even have to revisit it.
Forbidden?
For like some of the memeable moments that came from it.
Why is this wing forbidden? You should not be here. This wing is forbidden. Yeah, but we're here now. It doesn't seem that forbidden.
He's losing his mind.
And how come you purchased a personal Margaritaville margarita making machine? Keep it a thing.
Yeah, with your own money.
With your own money, with wages.
Seems like something the count would at least, give you money for.
Okay, the song is over. Oh, what would Jimmy Buffett do? Indeed. Here you go.
Oh, I'm not thirsty anymore, thanks.
I'll take it. Oh, that's cold. No thanks.
Well, I'll say that looks pretty good. You think you'll make a second?
I mean, I'll make a couple more. While you're at it, make 3 of them.
I know it's some bits and stuff.
I must complete the ritual to
This
create
guy,
the icon.
Mikey had
Make sure
put
you're doing the margaritas.
100, 100%
You must wait.
into
The
this
eyes of
performance.
Jane grow restless. There are 2 more
I
to
haven't
join.
seen like
There's a
I'm working
great
through
feast to be
some of
had
the other
at the
videos
Edward Feast
videos
of the
on
Dead Dance.
the
Oh,
Avrantes
yes. He
Avrantes
hobbled over the
channel.
pot, he goes, "Rosaka."
Goddamn. I can't say it right. I can't talk.
I look at Jean
Alright,
Claude,
let's
I say,
see.
this guy is fucking
Corn Hurl,
useless. And I
but
go,
too basic.
I hit
Choose
the
one of
button.
your opponent's Pokemon and flip a coin. If
trying
hits,
to,
this
round
attack
out
does
the
20
ritual to see
damage
if I
to
can
that
make the
Pokemon.
remaining 2 margaritas.
Oh, okay. Any other effect that would happen after applying weaknesses and resistance still happens. Now we're show Meowth jump up with its right arm and with raining coins. Oh, nice.
That's not why we're here. We're listening to the song.
I'm humming along.
Alright, fine. If you're making it, I'll have it.
Alright, I got you.
Alright.
Song.
Family's got it. Family's got it.
This is so fun.
Song. Oh, the master is the pizza. Oh. I have been summoned.
Again? You have to
This card was also used in the starter deck Trouble.
We're definitely gonna just follow
That sounds absolutely perfect.
Get the heck out of here without following my
Alright, let's see.
I must away to the catacombs beneath the Cathedral of the Dead, the area that is more forbidden than this.
More forbidden?
Yes, the price for entering the Forbidden Wing. I will explain later, I don't have time. As he scampers
Shit.
away, this icon.
More forbidden than forbidden. Do you think it's like 5 bidden?
Don't go in any of the rooms. There awaits
5 bidden.
doom.
When is the feast? Is it soon?
Doom.
Can we have the key?
Two?
Can we have the key to that like iron door?
Doom. No.
I think that looks right. I
None
think.
shall find the keys hidden beneath the welcome mat of
I might have scuffed it.
Oh, you don't say. All right.
Thank you.
Hang on.
And I must nourish.
Okay.
I'm the Iliaster of the master.
All right.
He will nourish me.
Yep.
From his very breast.
Okay.
Stop talking about it. Come on. Come on, get out of here.
You are just destroying the mood. You know?
This guy's a vibe killer.
We were having a
enjoy it.
really great time.
I was really
Let's
enjoying
see.
this margarita.
From XY Roaring Sky. Execute.
Did you
Grass
just try
type with
pocket
40
sand
HP.
us?
What the hell was that?
What are you doing?
Yeah, get away.
Get out of here.
Hey, Wygor.
Why
Hey.
go?
Oh, I need to descale that dang
Wygor.
Margaritaville machine.
Mr. Gore.
Oh, I'm coming.
Mr.
I'm
Gore,
coming.
please.
None shall enter the dungeon.
We're in here now.
The
We're right
dungeon
here.
is forbidden.
Well, we're still calling.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Hurry up. Hurry up.
Death reigns here.
Okay, I think the plan from now on is to continue with just the faces, and then I'll work to the full body using the faces as the basis, and then add more details in. And then add more details in every. All right, let's see. Let's see. Loaf was one. Ah! No! What? What? Oh, who wants to watch 4 hours of SpongeBob conspiracies?
Can you make more sponge?
Alright, let me get the link put up here. See, the artwork show load with one basic energy, flip a coin. If heads, switch this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. Ooh. Alright, let me get the... Ah, shit. Okay. Let me put the link up in here. Again, I recommend you go check out these videos for yourselves. Go check out the people that make them. They're all awesome people. I believe. In my humble opinion. At least I think it's humble. Ram does 10 damage with 1 grass energy. Ooh, sweet.
SpongeBob theories.
Where's the new SpongeBob?
The arc show execute rolling away and get from being caught by a Spearow. Oh, that sounds frightening.
Alright, I get it. Listen, I'm done making SpongeBob theories. I already gave you guys 8 big ones.
Alright, what am I
I made
doing?
a whole web series about not wanting to be the SpongeBob
Oh yeah,
guy.
the scars
Done, okay?
and the details
But
in the hair.
since we're wrapping up this SpongeBob chapter of my channel, and since I'm basically at 1 million subscribers, here's what I'll do as a final send-off just for you SpongeBob theory fans. This video is a compilation of my 8 previous SpongeBob conspiracies with no sponsorships, no film interruptions, no whining about not wanting to be the SpongeBob guy, except for the whining that I just
I was
did,
getting a ton
and
of
bunch
crazy ideas
brand
from this
new,
guy.
never before
He
seen
is
content.
awesome.
These theories have new evidence that's been discovered, some corrections,
I will.
and responding to comments
Absolutely.
I've gotten, new ideas and directions for old theories, and
Next two are
best
from
of all,
Scarlet and
8
Violet
completely
Obsidian
new,
Flames.
never before seen mini SpongeBob theories. I'll be sprinkling these new mini theories in after each of the main
Oh, the
theories, and I'll
eyebrow.
also be ending all of my old theories with some thoughts on how I think they hold up today. And hey, after this, I'm still going to be making theories about other non-SpongeBob related topics, so make sure you subscribe to catch
Yeah, whatever
those.
attacked
Let's
him
begin
had
this one
some sharp
final
claws.
SpongeBob video
It might have
with
been
the
another.
very first SpongeBob theory I
Oh wait,
ever
yeah, I
made,
was probably
just for you,
yeah, I was
very
theorizing
passionate
about this
SpongeBob
last
theory
time.
fans
It
that have
might have been
changed
another
my life.
mermaid. It might have been
Thank you
something
for everything.
else.
I hope you enjoy.
Squilliam Fancy Son. Squilliam Fancy Son. Squilliam Fancy Son.
Squilliam Fancy Son III is Squidward's rival from high school band class.
So, I just
Spelling
took my
fine
private
with
yacht
one
across
basic,
my
draw
private
card.
lake to my private heliport.
Ooh.
He's more wealthy, popular, and talented than Squidward, and he always rubs it in his face.
That's right. I'm living your
Stampede does
dreams,
basic
Squidward.
10
just succeeding in everything.
Oh,
you
oddish. Grass type
failed
with 50
in.
HP.
But
I'm sorry, I
intend to
missed
prove
that.
he's a
I
fraud.
apologize for
To make
that.
himself seem more popular and talented than he actually is. He goes to ridiculously extreme and expensive lengths to humiliate Squidward and show his superiority, and I'm gonna prove it. Evidence number 1, the pet hospital. We first meet Squilliam in season 2,
Stampede does
episode
basic 10
15,
damage
Band
with 1
Geeks.
grass
The
energy.
episode opens
Art
with
show
Squidward
Oddish
playing the
walking in a
clarinet
dead
and getting
grass
knocked on the
hill.
door.
Oh my god, I often imagine like
we're with the pet
stampedes
hospital
of the
down
most
street, and I
adorable
understand you have a
creatures.
dying animal on the premises.
Immediately after,
Stampedes of
Squidward gets a call from
corgis.
Squilliam.
Stampedes of
You've
axolotls.
reached the house of unrecognized talent. Please start after that.
Sounds as though you've got a dying animal to attend to, eh, old chum?
I believe that not only was Squilliam
I don't know why,
spying
but
on Squidward
I
to know
like
when he was
that.
playing
I
his
liked it.
clarinet,
I liked
but
the
he
idea of
also
just
hired
something
the doctor
cute
to come and embarrass
going
Squidward.
full stampede.
We're with the pet hospital down the street.
Small and cute.
Pet hospital down the street.
We have never seen a pet hospital in Bikini Bottom. We've only ever seen just the regular Bikini Bottom hospital. We've seen this purple doctorfish before, but once again, he's never worked at a pet hospital. We've only ever seen him at the regular general hospital.
Well, Mr. SquarePants, it seems you have the suds. Are you ready for your treatment?
Then there's this green fish behind him, and we've only ever seen him as one of the many identical paramedics
I
that
can
work
probably
at the
make
Bikini
these
Bottom
two
hospital.
scars
We
bigger,
even see him at the
little
end of the
bigger.
episode to take Squilliam away after fainting. So it is
Yeah.
very likely that Squilliam hired these two and told them to pretend like they're from a pet hospital just to humiliate Squidward. Hey, it's me from the future. So this is an obvious one that I got tons of comments about. There is a pet hospital, and this doctor did do a pet checkup, and I was a teenage Gary.
Paladin,
Still, I think the way
Clodsire,
Squilliam
Dark type with
immediately
140
calls and
HP.
mentions the dying animal strongly implies he sent the doctor to mess with Squidward. Also, I don't have like a ton to add to this theory, just because they haven't really
Should be,
released
like,
any new
close to the Adam's
Squilliam lore,
apple,
but I've
right?
still got a few things
Yeah.
to say, and the next theories will have a lot more, I promise. But this is just the start of Squilliam's elaborate lies. Evidence number
This
2,
one's close to the
bubble bowl.
collarbone.
In the same episode, Squilliam also says,
I think like
I'm the leader of
another
a
one right
big
there, so
fancy
it's
band now, and we're supposed
three
to play
marks.
the
Oh, that should be
Bubble Bowl next week. The problem is, I'm busy next week and can't make it. So I
Sorry.
was hoping you and your band could cover for us.
There we go.
But we've never seen Squilliam's
Yo,
band before.
sick.
And despite claiming he's too busy to make it to the Bubble Bowl, he still shows up at the end to watch Squidward's band. So both his excuse and probably his band were made up to pressure Squidward into humiliating himself at the Bubble Bowl.
Squilliam, you lying, deceiving bastard! I didn't even realize that! Who is that handsome young devil? Hey, I know this guy!
Evidence number 3.
That's
Squilliam's
absolutely
friends. In
hilarious.
season 3, episode 8,
Poison
Squilliam
ring does
returns.
20 damage
Squidward
with
leaves
one
for work
dart.
and conveniently bumps
nice.
into Squilliam and all of his fancy friends, despite Squilliam not seeming like the kind of guy that would come near the Krusty Krab. He and his friends make fun of Squidward for working as a cashier.
Hold it! Don't tell me! You're a cashier!
Don't lie. Lying always makes it worse.
But I believe
let's
that this encounter was planned out
make
by
this into a
Squilliam in
PNG and
advance,
then I'll
he
open it in
hired
the
all
other
of those
window.
people to pretend to be his friends. Take a look at Squilliam's friends. They're all nicely dressed. You kind of get the sense
Muddy
that they're
Hammer does
fancy,
10
high-status
100 damage
members of
with one
Bikini
dark
Bottom,
and two
but they
basic.
aren't. This is more
sweet.
like what the fancy rich people in Bikini Bottom look like. These are just some regular Bikini Bottom
do you
citizens.
mean?
Most of them usually don't even wear nice clothes like this.
What do you mean
And
it's
most
open?
of them are regulars at the Krusty Krab and would already know Squidward as the cashier.
My patty doesn't have enough slime.
These are not the type of people Squilliam would hang out with.
Oh!
I mean, why would Squilliam be hanging out with one of Pearl's teenage friends? You know, some people pointed out that maybe there's another reason for this, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Squilliam, you have some explaining to do. Hi, I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Why don't you have a seat right there?
At the end of the episode, Squilliam even admits to his whole life being fake.
I made everything up about my life. I have no yachts, jets, or anything. I was only trying to impress you.
And then, of course, he quickly says he's just kidding.
Is that true?
Yo, art showed Paladin,
course not.
Clodsire in a
I'm
grass
barely
field area
sticking
with a
But
smile on its
was he
face.
kidding? I mean, obviously
Before I
he's
get
rich,
to the last
but is there
card,
a nugget
why
of
not a
truth in
stampede of
there?
mudkips?
Evidence number 4, the statue. In season 7, episode 6,
So
Squidward has to
cute!
pick up trash
Oh,
for
not
community
that.
service, and Squilliam once again conveniently bumps into him and reveals he's cleaned up so much trash that the city actually built a statue of him.
Maybe if you clean up Bikini Bottom, they'll build a statue of you. Oh, wait! They've already built one. Of me! I cleaned up all of Bikini Bottom in only 1 week.
Hello, it's me, I'm interrupting. So, a lot of people thought this statue was actually supposed to be of Squidward because there's no unibrow, but we can actually faintly see it right there.
Oh, wait! They've already built one. Of me!
I believe that once again, this encounter was staged by Squilliam, and he actually paid to get that statue built. As Squilliam tells Squidward about the statue, a female fish admires it and says,
Bless you, Squilliam Fancyson. Bless you.
but if you remember, this is one of those friends Squilliam likely paid, making her whole comment feel very fake. By the end of the episode, Squilliam's statue gets destroyed. A police officer approaches and they have this exchange.
This is your statue? It was.
Squilliam admits that it's his statue, not the city's. And why else would the officer give him specifically a ticket if it was city property? Evidence number 5. The concert.
Too long.
In season 6, episode 17, Squidward watches Squilliam play the clarinet at a big fancy concert. He receives a standing ovation, causing Squidward to leave angrily. But I believe this entire concert is a scam.
I'm gonna move this over a little
Not only has the
bit.
audience been paid to cheer, but Squilliam never even touches his instrument. Once again, many of the audience
Honestly,
members were part
I
of
can
Squilliam's quote-unquote
picture this
friends,
being true,
but we also
'cause
never actually see Squilliam
who knows
play
what
the clarinet.
rich
The episode
people
opens
will
right
buy
after
with
he
their
finishes
money.
performance with the audience cheering.
After
and one
all,
member of the
everything can be
audience
bought and
says,
sold with the right oil.
He doesn't even have to touch an instrument to be brilliant.
Maybe
I don't
the
know.
real reason
I don't
Squidward
know if
leaves
my
so
impression was
angrily
spot on or
because
not.
The audience
Damn,
cheered
is
for
that
Squilliam,
funny?
even though he never even touched his clarinet. Maybe Squilliam is just
Let's
as
see,
bad
last
as
card
Squidward at
from
the clarinet,
Destiny
and he's trying to
Rivals.
hide it. Hey,
Steven
before we get into
Skarmory.
the next evidence,
Steel type
here's
with
a quick new thought
120
I
HP.
had. In this video, I'm claiming
Razor Wing does
Squilliam is a
basic
fraud in terms
30
of
damage
his
with 2
popularity
basic energy.
and his talent. But he clearly is actually very rich. But how? Well, I think the answer is in his name, Squilliam Fancyson III. He was obviously just born into a rich family and was given everything his whole life. Just another interesting layer to the character. Squilliam has
Just
gone to
below
some
the
pretty
eyes.
extreme lengths just to humiliate Squidward. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what he does next. Evidence number 6. The Music College. In the same episode, after Squidward leaves the concert, he's approached by the headmistress of the Bikini Bottom prestigious music college.
Aren't you the esteemed Squilliam Fancyson III, who we all came here to see perform tonight?
She mistakes him for Squilliam and offers him a position as a professor.
Sonic double with
Squidward
2
pretends to be
steel and
Squilliam
1
and teaches a
basic.
class
His attack
only
does
for the
50
police to
damage
burst
with
in and arrest him, all while he's
to
being
your
filmed
opponent's
on live
Pokemon.
TV. And I believe that this is
Nice.
Squilliam's most elaborate and most expensive scheme to destroy Squidward both publicly and legally. This encounter where Squidward gets offered a job is already suspiciously convenient, but listen closely to their exchange.
I'm Squilliam Fancyson.
But didn't you just say a minute ago that your name was Squidward Q Tentacles?
It is. No, I mean, no, I didn't.
Well, that's a relief. I mean, what kind of a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
What kind of moron would go to their own enemy's music recital?
How does she know?
Oh!
know? True. How does she fucking know? Yeah. You're on to something, my guy.
How does she know that Squidward and Squilliam are enemies? If she knew who Squidward was, then why didn't she recognize him? Why would she mistake him
The
for
art shows
Squilliam?
Steven
This feels
Skarmory
way
flying
too
in the
much
sky.
like she was
Below it
hired by
is
Squilliam
some
to
kind of
set a
tower,
trap for
similar to the
Squidward.
tower
And
where
if
you
that's not enough,
fight
the
Zinnia and
headmistress's
in the
associate
Gen 3
is literally
remake?
just a guy
Oh,
from the paid
sweet.
audience wearing a disguise. He just threw on
Sounds
some
so
glasses
cool.
to seem smart. Squilliam knew that Squidward couldn't resist the opportunity to teach a music class, even if it meant breaking the law.
Yo, imagine Skarmory in a metal band.
Then we get to the Bikini
I can
Bottom
imagine it
prestigious
headbanging
music
to some
college, and right off the
sick
bat,
beats.
There's something very fishy about this place. The building itself is very green and grimy and has a very cheap metal look. Nothing about this says prestigious except for the big sign on top, which feels like the only new thing about this building. I think there is a very good chance that Squilliam just bought some old warehouse, then stuck a sign and some paint on it to disguise it as a college. I mean, look at these other schools in Bikini Bottom. They all have a very nice structure and a paint job, but this prestigious music college looks like a dumpster.
Yo, I
Going into
should
the
get-
classroom,
that's
not
all the
only
cards?
does it have
That's
another
the
one of
announcement?
Squilliam's friends,
Sweet.
but if this is such a prestigious college, how did SpongeBob and Patrick get in here?
Would you two
On the 27th will be the
Pokemon
Pokemon 30th
anniversary.
Class anyway?
Sure. Patrick's New Year's resolution
Oh
was to
man,
learn
now
to
I
play an
feel
instrument.
old.
They say it was their New Year's resolution to take a music class, but you'd think it'd be harder for them to get into an esteemed music school if they just decided to go to it on a whim. Seems like they're just letting in anyone to sell this ruse. Then, both the police, Squilliam and the headmistress, and a live news broadcast show up at the same time to arrest Squidward for impersonating Squilliam. If the extremely coincidental fact that all of these people suddenly showed up at the same time isn't enough for you to believe that Squilliam set it
Not
all
only
up,
that, but
I've
4
got something
Pokemon movies
that's
are
going to
turning
blow
old this year.
your mind. Squilliam literally has the police working for him.
Squidward Q Tentacles, I'm placing you under arrest for impersonating a genius.
If that doesn't sound like he's been paid off, I don't know what does. The lengths that Squilliam goes to humiliate Squidward are insane. He literally builds statues and
On the
entire
16th will be
buildings
the
just to
16th
make Squidward
anniversary
feel
of Zora
inferior.
Rock,
But
Masters of
why?
Illusion.
Why would anyone go so far to embarrass an old high school band classmate? What happened between them? What could have caused
Yay,
this
Zora
extreme
Rock
level
is
of
now our
dedication?
angsty teenage
Well,
son.
unfortunately, we never really get much information on their past.
I don't know why
I
I
spent
just
hours
said
reading
that.
through the SpongeBob Wikipedia and looking at old episodes, and there really just isn't any clues that would explain their
I'm
weird
sorry.
relationship. I guess we can't
ignore
solve
me.
everything, but either way,
I'm
that's
getting
my
high off the
theory.
caffeine.
Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time.
Wait.
Wait a second. Season 6, Episode 5, Slide Whistle Stooges. Just a normal episode where
On the
SpongeBob
18th will
and
be the
Patrick
18th
annoy Squidward.
anniversary of
Nothing really out of the
Giratina and the
ordinary.
Sky Warrior.
Except I have one
21st
question about
will
this
be the
episode.
Sylveon Day.
Why does Squidward have Squilliam's robe? That is clearly not the purple robe he usually wears. That is Squilliam Fancy Son III's robe.
I do
Why
love
would
I do
Squidward
love
have
my
this?
evolutions.
Are we about to? Is he about to say what I think he's about to?
Unless they were more than just classmates. Could they have once been dating?
Hey, yo! I mean, wait. He is a grown man that likes the clarinet, classical art, classical music, and smooth jazz. Octopi are bisexual?
No way. That's not possible. There's no evidence to support that. Right?
Don't be intimidated, Squidward. Try to imagine him and his under.
Oh no!
No. It can't be.
I mean, what kind of a moron would go to their worst enemy's music recital?
It's been right in front of us this whole
Oh
time.
no, he's hot!
Saw evil harassing teenagers up at Makeout Reef.
Makeout Reef. Good time. Good time. Voted most likely to suck eggs in high school.
Holy
On the 19th will be the 19th anniversary of the Rise of Darkrai. And on the 27th will be
Alex Bale
not only will it be the 30th anniversary, but the 7th anniversary of Mewtwo Strike Back Evolution. Sweet.
In a stretch, but he'll give you that one tidbit of it, the aha moment. He does it every time. He does it every time.
Also, he calls him Squiddy.
Squiddy?
That kind of sounds like a pet name for an ex, right? I don't know. Obviously, I didn't have a ton to add to this theory, since there hasn't really been any new Squilliam episodes, but I have a lot more to say in the other theories.
Yo,
I
you
promise.
think that Squilliam oh shit.
Made for
They
staying
stopped
in the
having
moment
Squilliam
and
pop
on
up
the
in
move.
this show because that people were starting to catch on to this theory? Not very progressive, Nickelodeon.
So,
But
before
that's
we
just
get
a
to
theory.
the first official new mini-theory, I'm gonna end each of my old theories with a few thoughts on how I think they hold up, and where I think they rank among the others. I think I'd
Also, I give
probably
links
rank
to
this
movies
as
plus
my
4
worst
Pikachu
SpongeBob
shorts,
theory,
and we're only
even though I still think it's pretty plausible, I
released
just
in
got a lot of
Japan.
issues with it. You can probably
sweet.
tell it's my first attempt at an actual theory, with some obvious things I got wrong, and the fact that a lot of the evidence relies on the continuity of very common background characters, which are obviously used very interchangeably in this show with no rhyme or reason. I still think there's some really good evidence here.
Where are you
like the
sending
design of
the links
college
in?
or the way
On your
this lady
channel?
clearly knows more about Squidward
The
than
fourth
she's letting
is to-
on. But
the fourth
also,
tomorrow
you
is
know, when you
Pikachu's
compare it to my
exporta-
later theories, it's
ta-
kind of
ex-
just a very basic, simple
Exportation Club?
concept. I'm just claiming the asshole character is an even bigger asshole than you thought. It's really not that interesting or surprising. Oh well, we can only go up from here. Let's begin my first new mini theory. So, here's a question
Imagination.
I've been asked from the very start of making these SpongeBob theories. How is there fire underwater? It's probably one of the most obvious contradictions in this show, and the creators will usually go out of their way to draw attention to the fact that it doesn't make any sense.
At least it's warm around the fire.
Hey, if we're
February
underwater, how
12th
could
is
there be
Pikachu's Ice Adventure.
Whoever sent this obviously
And the
has no idea
23rd
about
is
the physical
Pikachu's
limitations
Sparkle
of life
Search.
underwater.
Yep, on my
Might as well
post.
throw these in the
Sweet.
fire.
So finally, I will give the people my answer to this infamous age-old question: how is there fire underwater?
Nice.
It's just a cartoon. I'm not kidding, that's actually my answer. SpongeBob is not the real world. it's a cartoon. It has its own cartoon logic where absurd things like fire being underwater can happen. But that doesn't mean there's nothing here to theorize about. Just because it's cartoon logic doesn't mean it's not still logic. If you pay close attention, you can see that there is a consistent internal logic and rules to how this cartoon world really works. And I think how SpongeBob cartoon logic works is best explained in the Season 3 episode, Idiot Box. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick spend the day playing inside of a box, but Squidward keeps hearing impossible sound effects coming from it.
SpongeBob?
And how are they creating these sound effects?
How are you two making those noises?
Imagination.
I'll be linked
With
on my
their
post tomorrow. I'll give a link to you and everyone
this
to
is key
choose
to
Exploration
understanding
Club.
how the SpongeBob world really works. This episode tells us that anything that is imagined
I'll be on
in
the
SpongeBob
lookout.
can physically come to life. We can see this imagination rule in every single episode of the show. The most obvious example of this is when a character is thinking and a thought bubble appears above their head. But in SpongeBob, these thought bubbles are real physical things. Other characters can see and physically interact with them.
Wait, hold on! My pen is out of ink.
Itchy head.
You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback.
Because things imagined in SpongeBob come to life. And this goes far beyond just thought bubbles. It explains how characters are constantly getting new props and costumes out of nowhere. Where did SpongeBob suddenly get this hat and sign? Where did he get this glove or all of these costumes that instantly appear and disappear? It's because SpongeBob
It's
is
English Club
imagining
on
all of these
Pokeflix.
props. This can be used to explain almost every single absurd gag in this show.
Wait, Patrick, you're supposed to let me win, remember?
Oh, yeah?
Patrick is imagining himself getting beat up here.
Said it's gonna be a good one, just wait and see.
SpongeBob is imagining the sun talking to him and burning his bedroom. And SpongeBob and Patrick are imagining that fire is able to exist underwater. And if you still don't believe me, look what
Hold
happens
on,
when
if they
Patrick
live
questions the logic
underwater,
behind the
how would
fire.
they know what fire is?
If we're underwater, how could there be a...
The moment they start doubting the logic of the fire, it disappears because they're no longer able to imagine it. This rule also seems to be limited by how imaginative each character is. Squidward, who never even got the idiot box to work, rarely ever manifests any imaginations, while SpongeBob, arguably the most
machinations of my
imaginative
mind
character in
are
the
an
show,
enigma.
has created living
Today I got
characters
some
like
stuff from
Doodle Bob
Facebook
and Bubble
Marketplace.
Buddy using his
Those are the cards
imagination,
from the
both of which
Digimon
have
S
ended up
Scanner card
continually
game.
reappearing throughout the
Or
entire
D
show.
Scanner card
Bubble
game.
Buddy even went on to create an entire bubble
trying to
town
remember, is
full
that
of bubble
the
citizens, all
scanner
stemming
game
from
where
SpongeBob's
you catch
imagination. This theory
Digimon
also explains
for
why Mrs. Puff gets trapped in so many
scanning
delusions.
barcodes?
They are literally
Or am I thinking of
manifesting
something
around her
else?
because of her imagination. Okay, but what's the point of explaining all of this? Even if you didn't know the exact mechanics of it, you probably already understood that random stuff can just appear and disappear in a cartoon. I'm not really telling you anything groundbreaking, but once you fully understand this idea, it adds a whole new context to so many things in this show. One of the
Remember,
most interesting being
I remember
how dreams
Merryweather
seem to
talking about
affect
it
the world.
a
Specifically,
little bit ago,
SpongeBob's dreams.
or a couple years
In
ago.
season 1 Sleepy Time, SpongeBob dreams about finally getting his license, but then he crashes and Mrs. Puff takes his license away. And this is exactly what happens later in the season 2 episode, No Free Rides. Mrs. Puff gives
Yes,
him a
it is.
license,
Oh,
instantly regrets it,
awesome.
and after SpongeBob crashes his car, Mrs. Puff takes his license away. So, did SpongeBob's dream predict this event, or did his imagination literally cause it to happen? Okay, you're not convinced yet? Don't worry. This
I
is
remember
far
seeing that as a
from the
kid, and I
only
was
instance
like,
of this
"Oh, that
happening.
looks so
In
cool,"
season
and
2
I
Procrastination,
started
SpongeBob
imagining my
dreams
own
about his
game for
pineapple
that.
burning down, which happens later in season 9.
Where, like,
Gary's
monsters
New
were
Toy.
everywhere and
In
I could
season
catch
5
them.
Roller Cowards, he dreams about crashing on a Glove World roller coaster, and then it happens in season 10 Don't Wake Patrick.
Oh, fuck.
Even dreams we don't see come
One of the
true.
dogs in there is in
Squid's on a
gremlin
bus,
mode.
Squidward becomes
They
a
have
bus driver
codes on
for the
top of
day,
the
and
cards. You can
SpongeBob
scan the
says this.
detector device, Digivice using
Now, I
Digimon
already know what
Frontier
you're gonna say.
season where
SpongeBob's
kids
a
turn
very
into
long-running
Digimon.
show. A lot of these basic plots were bound to happen eventually, right? You know,
Cool.
it's like how The Simpsons can predict the future. But
let's
in
see.
season 4's
Oh, dear.
Fear of Krabby Patties, SpongeBob dreams about everyone in the Krusty Krab turning into giant killer Krabby Patties. That is a very weird and specific plot, and yet that's still exactly what happens 7 seasons later in Krabby Patty Creature Feature, when Mr. Krabs feeds people experimental Krabby Patties and turns everyone into giant mutant Krabby Patty monsters that try to hunt SpongeBob down.
That's kind of right.
It seems like all of SpongeBob's dreams eventually manifest into real life because of the unlimited power of his imagination. Okay, that's all pretty interesting, right? But you want to know something really crazy? While researching this theory, I discovered something insane. Honestly, it may be one of the craziest discoveries I've ever found in this show.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready? In the season 6
cool,
special, Truth or Square, all of the characters get trapped inside of the massive ventilation system beneath the Krusty Krab.
There's an entire network of tunnels and air ducts underground.
At a certain point, Mr. Krabs gets separated from the group.
A crossroads. I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
SpongeBob then takes a break to tell the story of when Mr. Krabs told him the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This reminds me of the time Mr. Krabs confided in me the Krabby
Which one I don't have a detector digivice.
Krabs called me into his office.
You can try to find one that would be on eBay.
Something really strange happens. After the story, we cut back to the group, and Mr. Krabs is somehow back with them after previously being separated. I'm serious. There's no scene of them being reunited. He's just gone and then back somehow, and it's never explained in this episode. I mean, what was even the point of wasting time and money animating them split up if they were just gonna immediately bring Mr. Krabs back without any explanation?
I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
You could literally remove the scene of Mr. Krabs separating from them, and the episode would make total sense. But wait a second. Look at how SpongeBob's story ends.
You can never tell another living soul. Wait, hold on! Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback. SpongeBob.
Imaginary Mr. Krabs from inside of the thought bubble grabs Plankton and throws him down a vent. And when we cut back, Mr. Krabs is suddenly back sitting with the group. The obvious explanation is that this isn't the real Mr. Krabs. This is still the imaginary Krabs from SpongeBob's story who came to life. And the real Mr.
D&D
Krabs
video
is
you showed
still
me
somewhere
earlier?
lost inside of the Krusty Krab vents, and they never switched back. The Mr. Krabs they escape with is not the real Mr. Krabs. And every time we see Mr. Krabs after this season 6 episode, he's actually a
Legends
fake imaginary
of
doppelganger. And the real
Avantris.
one is still trapped beneath the Krusty Krab somewhere.
That's the channel.
It's the reason why Mr. Krabs in later seasons has
Does look
become
right.
such a one-dimensional
Oh,
character. Going
fuck
from
no, it
someone
doesn't.
who was cheap but
Hang
still
on.
genuinely cared about his employees and family to a one-note cartoon villain. It's because he actually was replaced by a flat, imaginary imitation of the original. And I know what you're gonna say, there's no way SpongeBob would imagine him to be that way. Well, think again.
Show me what you got.
Look at me. I'm Mr. Krabs. I love money. Every night I tuck
I've been
me
watching
Molly in
Digimon
and tell
D&D
it a
series
bedtime
called
story.
Digidestiny.
Oh, what's that you say?
Oh,
Me daughter Pearl
that's-
needs an operation.
There's Digimon D&D. Sounds so cool.
That'll do,
Series done by
SpongeBob.
Digidestiny.
And that is the imagination theory. 7 more mini theories left. Woo!
Okay, I'll definitely
So
give them. I'll
SpongeBob
definitely look them up
SquarePants is
later.
not what you think it is. There is a secret group of puppet masters who are always watching the citizens of Bikini Bottom and pulling the strings. Hidden within Bikini Bottom
This
are
might not
spies
look
that
right
keep
either.
an eye on the characters and make sure everything goes to plan. This is a conspiracy that will fundamentally change the way you look at the show SpongeBob SquarePants. And I
I'm
believe
trying
it's
so hard to make
actually
this look
intended by
right,
the
and
creators. And
I'm
prove
failing
it.
miserably.
This is the television theory. To start this theory, we have to go back to the very beginning of the very first episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Ah, the sea. So fascinating.
Are they on? I've been watching Campaign 1.
See Bikini Bottom.
Are they on YouTube or Twitch or both?
SpongeBob SquarePants. Yes, of course he lives in a pineapple, you silly.
So let me ask you a question. Who's speaking in this clip? Well, obviously that's just the narrator. We hear his voice many times throughout the show.
Goo Lagoon. A stinky mud puddle for you and me. The Krusty Krab. Through these doors pass all the many kinds of undersea life.
Puff's boating school, where diligent students learn the rules of the road.
But who exactly is the narrator? Well, he's just the narrator, right? We're not supposed to think about who he is or why we're hearing him. Lots of shows have narrator framing devices we're not supposed to think about.
Caillou was amazed that Mommy had made a rainbow.
Ew!
Like in the picture.
Evil!
There's something different about this narrator. He sounds
You
a
do?
lot like he's narrating
Sweet.
a nature documentary.
The ocean. From above,
Alright, let me,
a simple blanket of water.
let me write the name down right on my
But
hand real
below,
quick.
a complex world full of color, life, and wonder.
Actually, not my hand.
So fascinating,
do you-
so wonderful. Here we see Bikini Bottom.
Oh, I got a
teeming
notepad
with
over
life.
here.
What if I told you that he's not just some
I don't
random
use Twitch.
disembodied voice? He's an actual
Fair enough.
character in this universe.
Honestly,
Here we are again
I think I
at the
forgot my
Bikini Bottom
password to my
boating
Twitch
school.
account.
Today is once again the day of
I haven't been on there in a
SpongeBob
while.
boating school exam. But more importantly, this is the last test for the year. And if SpongeBob does not pass this one, it means another whole year of boating school!
Alright.
SpongeBob literally crashes into the fourth wall, and we actually get to see the narrator and the camera he's been filming with. The show SpongeBob SquarePants is not just a cartoon. Everything we see is a part of a nature documentary television show being filmed by scuba divers. Hey, Alex from the future here. It is kind of weird that the scuba diver seems so small
Okay.
here compared to most
Got it written
humans
down.
we see in the show. I go into this a little more at the end of the theory, but we know humans have access to shrinking technology, so I think it's very possible
Not
the
Caillou,
filmmakers
that
shrunk
was
themselves
fun.
down to film the show. And if you're still not convinced, I searched really,
I heard a
really
while
hard
back
and
that
found
a
an
group
old
of parents
SpongeBob
got
DVD bonus
so
feature that
pissed
basically
off
confirms everything.
that they
Since before time even
made a
existed,
petition to get him
lab-loving
off of it,
scientists
off
have
of
tried to
TV.
learn the secrets of intelligence. Their studies led them to the sea, where the citizens of one undersea colony demonstrated a genius so enormous, the scientists felt compelled to record their actions for use in teaching mankind how to live better. The name of this miraculous place? Bikini Bottom. Poring over the mass of brainy masterminds scattered about this strange land, the scientists chose 6 Bikini Bottom residents at random to study. As the scientists marveled at the advanced knowledge and superior intellect of these 6 creatures,
I went to college!
they rolled their cameras and took notes. And now, finally, we can learn all of the things that these smarty pantsuses have to teach us. Life lessons from Bikini Bottom.
I don't know how it can get any more clear than that. Now, if you rewatch the show with this new information
Also,
in
Digi
mind,
Destiny.
some things start to
Also
take
do
on a
some
whole
of
new
bridge
meaning.
dubs.
Throughout the series, there's this
Some of
weird,
the
unexplained
Digimon
running
anime.
gag of a human hand
And back then, they
interfering
did
with
like the bridge
characters.
dub
It's
of
even in the beginning of
Yu-Gi-Oh!
every
GX.
episode in the intro for the show. Maybe the filmmakers are doing a bit more than just studying these characters. The hand seems to mostly interfere just to maintain the health and safety
Are they
of
the same
characters,
people
like treating SpongeBob
that
for
I saw
themselves.
like years ago?
Well, Mr. SquarePants,
That
it seems you
I
have
might
the
have seen the
suds.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Are you
GX
ready
bridge
for
a while
your
back.
treatment? Oh, Hans!
Yo, that looks gnarly right there. Perfect. Alright. Time for the next
It makes
phase.
sense that the filmmakers wouldn't want to risk the safety of their main character. After all, there's no show without SpongeBob, but that's not the only reason why they interfere. Season 3, episode 16,
So for this next
I
one,
Had an
I'm
Accident,
thinking
is infamous
longer
for having
hair.
one of the most absurd, confusing endings in the entire show. It ends with a real gorilla
And
suddenly
probably
coming out of a
more
Patrick
narrow
costume and
eyes.
attacking the characters. Then as soon as
I only saw
SpongeBob
a
begins to
couple
question
for-
the logic of the scene, this
For the
happens.
Adventures of
What's a
Lunt
gorilla
and
doing
Tamers.
underwater in the first place?
Well, it's funny you should. I mean, see, George, they're onto us!
Let's get out of here.
I remember seeing this episode when I was a kid. I thought, what did I just watch?
SpongeBob is a weird show, but this has always stuck out as being just a little too weird. But knowing what we know now, I think I can explain what's going on here. This isn't a real gorilla. Every other land animal we've seen underwater wears a helmet and is drawn in a cartoony
Aw,
style. The
Coco's
gorilla's shown
snoring.
in a live-action style, and the only time we ever see live-action characters is when they're human. So I believe both the gorilla and the horse he rides away on are humans wearing costumes. The filmmakers set this whole thing up just to make the episode more entertaining. It's starting to seem like this isn't strictly a nature documentary anymore. It's more of a reality TV show made for entertainment. Who knows what other absurd elements of the show are actually put
Sometimes
there by
you get
the
these like
filmmakers to
these
make the
weird
show more
epiphanies
entertaining
when
and
you
profitable.
draw.
Although, based on the people's reaction, it doesn't always seem to pay off. But how far will the filmmakers go to make the show more profitable?
Saturday morning in Bikini Bottom.
George, they're on to us!
SpongeBob is watching his favorite Saturday morning show, The Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, enjoying a bowl of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy bland cereal, and wearing the official Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Blackfist biters.
If we think of this as a television show, this sounds an awful lot like a product placement. I mean, listen to how the narrator specifically says the full names of the products.
The Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy bland cereal, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy Blackfist biters.
Why don't you let me fix you some of this new Mococo drink? All natural cocoa beans from the upper slopes of Mount Nicaragua, no artificial sweeteners.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Maybe the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy TV show is actually from the surface world. They are human after all. It makes sense that the filmmakers would choose to highlight these popular
What if I
superhero
made
characters.
like this
The
corner
more they
like
show,
down
the more they're
more?
gonna sell Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy merchandise. Also, Mermaid Man's old team of superheroes is referred to as a subsidiary of Viacom.
The International Justice League of Super Acquaintances, a subsidiary of Viacom.
And Viacom at the time was the company that owned Nickelodeon, which owns SpongeBob. So that's just more proof that Mermaid Man is directly working for the showrunners. Hang on a second, why are Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy the same size as all the fish in Bikini Bottom, even though humans are always shown as massive compared to fish? Whatever, I'll come back to that one later. The show doesn't even just hide product placements. In the episode Model Sponge, they literally trick SpongeBob into making a commercial for a human product.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Director.
Loose the pants!
Oh yeah.
What's happening?
Yo, this is that's actually good.
Take one. Your bathroom is a disaster. Get it cleaned up fast with the new sponge. Just look at that shine.
This is just like in real life how SpongeBob is such a popular character that he's used to sell tons and tons of products. So far I've shown you that the show SpongeBob SquarePants is actually a documentary television show, but the creators continually interfere to push their own agendas and make more money. But that brings us to an important question. Do the characters know they're in a television show? Let's go back to that clip where SpongeBob hits the cameraman.
It means another whole year of boarding school!
Why do I have this up so high?
What happened?
Oh, nothing, SpongeBob. You just struck
Coco.
another pedestrian.
Mrs. Puff calls him
Was
a
that you making that
pedestrian,
noise?
which sounds more like she thinks he's just some random Bikini Bottom citizen.
She's
The
having
different
some
types of
freaky
marine
dreams
life in
over there.
SpongeBob are so diverse and weird looking that it's not too hard to believe that the characters just think these filmmakers are another weird type of fish. And back to the gorilla episode, the gorilla and the horse immediately get nervous and run away when SpongeBob questions what's going on.
Well, it's funny you should. I mean, see the George, they're onto us.
Let's get out
Okay.
of here.
Almost like the creators don't want the characters to be aware their lives are being interfered with. Now, there isn't a ton of footage of the characters interacting with the filmmakers, but I dug really, really deep and found the smoking gun that answers all of our questions. This is an old commercial from 2004 made to promote the SpongeBob movie.
SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
It's not a jellyfish, Patrick. It's a spaceship.
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. I was wondering if you could answer a few questions.
Questions?
At this time when we finished the first campaign of
Pat,
Digi
don't you
Destiny.
see? It wants to learn about our world, and it's chosen us.
What? Yay!
I'm still working like
We've been chosen.
yeah, I'm still watching
A
like
submarine comes
I just
down to
got started
SpongeBob
on
and
the
Patrick to ask
D&D
questions
campaigns
to promote
myself.
The new movie. SpongeBob and Patrick
just started
are
watching
clearly confused by
Once
this
Upon
and
a
think the
Bushel,
submarine is some
like,
kind of
still on
alien.
the
They also have
second
no idea
episode.
that they're the stars of a movie.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
Bye.
Movie? What's that?
I don't know. La, 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 la.
So
Just
I think
another
it's
year
pretty
of
clear at this
boating
point that
school!
The characters are unaware their lives are being filmed and interfered with. But there are some characters that have to have some level of awareness. For example, the Dr. Fish that told the human hand to treat SpongeBob, and the Director Fish that directed the commercial for the human world. What makes these characters so special? First off, the Director Fish isn't actually from Bikini Bottom. Before he directed this commercial, we saw him as a citizen of New Kelp City in the episode Whatever Happened to
Alright,
SpongeBob.
how do I
Out of all
wanna
the characters they
approach
could have used, they
this?
specifically chose a character from out of town. Almost like the filmmakers didn't want to use anyone in Bikini Bottom, so they wouldn't risk everyone finding out about the television show. Then there's the Dr. Fish. We don't know where he originally came from, but he's an extremely suspicious character. Usually he's purple, but sometimes he's orange, sometimes he's purple with orange hands, sometimes he's a pirate, and he bears a striking resemblance to Dr. Manowar from the Jellyfish Convention.
And now it only hurts when you touch it.
Why does he have so many
Interesting
different
fact, the
disguises and
Manowar is
identities?
one of the
What
most
is he hiding?
poisonous
Okay, so
jellyfish
this
in the
isn't
world.
directly related to the television theory, but I have something really interesting to say about this doctor. In season 14's Don't Make Me Laugh, we see the Dr. Fish wearing orange gloves, and I'm pretty sure this is like a super subtle reference to this one time that he randomly had orange arms in season 1. It's like they're trying to retcon this old animation mistake and give it
I'd seen
an
that
in-universe explanation.
D&D episode
They
by
also did
Jaden
this with
Animations.
Arch Perkins, a side character who's notoriously switched back and forth between having
Well, I didn't know
orange and
Jaden
purple
does,
skin throughout the entire show.
I didn't know
But in
Jaden
season
does
13,
D&D
we
too.
get this close-up shot of him where we can see little smudges of purple makeup, implying his inconsistent colors was always him just wearing makeup. It's like the creators are telling us that little details matter. Even things that are obviously just animation mistakes have explanations in the lore of this show. Okay, sorry for the tangent.
Yo,
I just
you
thought that
remember-
was really interesting.
There was
Back
like
to the
some,
theory,
there was
I
like a
believe
thing a
hidden
while
throughout
back where
Bikini
like
Bottom are spies like this who are
Nickelodeon
aware they're
was
in a television
making
show
like
and keep tabs on the main characters and
random
make sure
theories
everything
about the
goes to plan.
random
There's so many
inconsistencies
suspicious
in their
characters in Bikini
animations or
Bottom that it
something.
could literally be anyone.
It's kind of
The
funny.
mailman, the hot dog vendor, Old Man Jenkins, it could literally be anyone.
Old
Some
Man
people have pointed out
Jenkins!
that there's this scene with Patrick that could be
Yeah, the
implying
Manowar
he
is
is
an
a
underwater
self-aware
nightmare.
spy.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all
Also,
out of
jellyfish are
time
immortal
But
and they
since
don't
this
have
is the only
brains.
example of anything suspicious with Patrick, I think it's a little more likely that he's just too stupid to understand what he's
That
doing
should give
here.
the-
But
that
what
should
if I
give some
told you
people a
that
little
the
hope?
biggest spy of all isn't some random side character. It's one of the main characters of the show. Someone who's been there from the very beginning. Someone who's not even from Bikini Bottom. Someone who's not even from the ocean. That's right. Sandy Cheeks.
How dare she?
Sandy Cheeks is the thrill-seeking scientific squirrel from Texas who lives underwater in her tree dome. But why did she come to Bikini Bottom? In the episode Chimps Ahoy, we find out she was hired by a group of chimpanzees to come underwater and create inventions. But why does she need to be underwater to make inventions? She could have just as easily made any of her inventions on land. It must be
This looks so
extremely
stupid. Oh my
expensive
gosh.
To maintain a giant dome of air underwater. There is
it
no
will look
way
better
the
when.
only reason she's
Hi.
here is to make random inventions.
Hi, Carrion.
I
How's it
think this
going?
whole episode is an elaborate ruse to throw off the other characters.
Yeah,
from
she
the
did
real reason
make an
Sandy is in
animation
Bikini
story
Bottom,
time
to
video on
spy
it.
on the main
Oh,
characters
sweet.
and make sure the show
I was
stays
watching
on
a stream
track.
talking about a certain
Many of the
list of
times the
files that
characters
I'm
are
not
in
allowed to
danger,
mention.
Sandy conveniently steps in to save the day, and many of the wacky, entertaining episode plots are driven by an invention Sandy creates. Everything she does is a calculated
I don't think I'm
move
in a
to carry
position
out the
to
hidden
say
agenda
or
of the
do
filmmakers.
anything
Her entire friendship
in
with
regards to
SpongeBob
that.
and the other characters is built on a lie. But you're probably saying, Sandy is a sweet, friendly squirrel.
How you
There's
doing,
no way
Carrion?
she's
Welcome to the
behind
stream.
this." You're not convinced yet? That's okay, because what I'm about to show you is so mind-blowing, so insanely revealing, that it's actually the whole reason I decided to make this video. Get ready for the big one. Season 10, Episode 10, Feral Friends, is the episode that unlocks this entire mystery. During a birthday party, a green moon suddenly appears and turns everyone except Sandy into less evolved, real-life versions
oh
of
god,
themselves.
what am I
Sandy
doing?
is completely caught off guard
What the
by
hell
this
am I
and
doing
decides
with
to
my
call
life?
someone for help. And take a guess who she calls.
Hello, French narrator speaking.
Hey, Frenchie! It's me, Sandy!
Ah, Sandy Cheeks.
I forgot to
How
mention
is
it on the phone.
Oh, it's not hanging too good, Frenchie. You see, there's this...
Don't
Oh,
say another
okay,
word.
I see.
I have been monitoring the behavior of the green moon all day.
Well, I didn't mean to
Yeah, I guess
do
that's
that.
a pretty interesting clip.
There we go.
Holy Sandy literally calls the narrator to let him know what's going on and ask for instructions on what to do next. She has been working with them the entire fucking time. He even has a picture of her on his desk.
Oh my god, the narrator! Oh my gosh, my gosh! Bro, my mind is just blowing up. My mind is just exploding.
What is that in the corner of the screen?
This is crazy.
Many
Which
people
corner?
have commented
Well,
about this, but
I
there
can't
has
get
been a
Spirit
major,
Lo-Fi to
major
open
new
because
development
Steam
for
decided
this
to be an
Sandy is a
asshole.
spy
So
theory.
I just got
In
some
the brand new
I just got a
SpongeBob
YouTube
movie,
video
Saving Bikini
on for
Bottom,
background
we
noise. The link to
basically
the original
get
video is
outright confirmation of this
pinned
theory.
in the
Like, it's not
chat.
even up for debate anymore. The movie reveals Sandy has been working for human scientists this entire time, and we even
Video
see
about SpongeBob?
this.
Yeah, it's all the SpongeBob conspiracy theories.
Weren't that the town you were spying on?
I weren't spying. I was doing observations.
Direct
I'm watching a
confirmation
video
that
about
Sandy
SpongeBob
is a
while
spy
drawing a merman.
3
It's kind of
years
crazy.
After I posted my television theory.
I'm doing something great and beautiful thanks to your scientific research sheets.
The narrator looks like the Cyclops. Dun dun dun.
It does seem like she didn't know the full extent of what was happening.
I didn't know that you were using me to spy on Bikini Bottom.
And also, it's never outright said that the humans are using them for a secret TV show. It's actually more about using them to create merchandise.
Yo, hold on.
Hold on. But we do get confirmation that they've always been filming
This might
them,
be like a
and
crazy
that
parallel
the
I'm
human
drawing.
company that Sandy works for was recently bought out by a different company, which explains
look at
why they're
the
focusing more on
main character I
merchandise
have
in
for
movie
this.
rather than a TV show.
You have reached Boots Laboratories, now a division of Gushing Waters Water Parks and future home of Sea Pals.
Either way, I'm gonna take the W. This theory
So-
aged very, very well. This is where I originally planned on ending the video.
Maybe drawing
but
like a
there's
parallel to
still
like
one
how
small
their
issue
eyes
with the
are,
television theory.
how their eyes
Just
can get
one
covered
nagging
by their
plot hole
hair,
that contradicts
just for different
everything.
reasons.
If this is all a television show filmed by scuba divers, then how are we seeing inside the
Oh yeah, be
buildings?
careful if
It's
you
not
have
like any of the humans
sensitive
filming the show
ears
fit
listening to
inside them.
Carrion's
It's
music
the
track.
one annoying
It's
thing
really
that keeps this
good,
theory
but
from being
there
complete.
are some high
I mean,
pitches
the
in
most
it.
logical explanation is that they have hidden cameras inside of everyone's homes, but we never really see anything like that. Holy.
Also, I forgot how bad the Sandy
Season
Cheek
6,
movie is.
episode
I heard.
24,
That's why I
Trooper
didn't watch
Square,
it.
The SpongeBob 10th anniversary special where they reveal
But
lots
it's
of stuff
canon.
about the characters. But the most damning piece of evidence comes from when the characters get lost in the Krusty Krab vents and end up in a room full of monitors showing live footage of all of their homes.
Oh, my house is on TV.
All of our houses are on TV. Mr. Krabs, why do you have cameras watching us?
Oh, I just want to make sure you all floss after every meal.
Thank you, Mr. Krabs. Dental hygiene is very, very important.
Dental hygiene? Eugene, you lying bastard. Of course he would sell out his
I
friends for
gotta
a quick
erase
buck. And if
this
there's
right
any
here
part
'cause
of you
it's
that
too
thinks
close to the
there's
other
some
one.
chance Mr. Krabs has all these hidden cameras for some other reason, then take a look at what happens next.
Hey, who are those guys?
I think it's us, Patrick. But who are they? Patrick,
Whoa! That's crazy. That is crazy.
That's some
Alright,
great
they're not
artwork.
even trying to hide it anymore.
Thank you.
A cameraman and
Industrial
a boom
music,
operator have
it
been
is,
following
yeah.
around the characters this entire time. And just like the gorilla, as soon as they get seen, they make a run for it. Okay, so obviously in the new Sandy movie, Mr. Krabs sort of acts surprised and betrayed by Sandy being a spy, which kind of makes it seem like he's not a spy, but think about it. If you were Mr. Krabs and a fellow spy's cover was just blown, you're not just gonna confess that you are also a spy. You're obviously gonna play along and pretend like you didn't know anything. I don't think this really disproves anything here. The case is closed. The television theory is something the show has consistently alluded to from the very first episode to the newest episodes. Maybe one day the show will actually directly address it and our characters will discover the real truth about their world. But regardless, that's my theory. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hey, whoa, hang on a second. You thought I forgot about the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy thing.
Wouldn't that be
didn't ya?
stalking if
All right,
crabs
here's a
did
quick
that?
bonus theory.
Kind of.
Oh yeah, I guess this one already kind of had a bonus mini theory. I'll still do a new proper mini theory after this, so don't worry. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were two superheroes that fought crime underwater and protected the sea from evil. Whether or not they actually did this or was all staged for television isn't clear, but they both spent their lives underwater until they became old and retired. But after spending so much time under the
I
sea,
already got it
they
selected.
no longer fit in with human society.
I'm
Plus,
silly.
Mermaid Man is clearly dealing with some form of dementia and PTSD from fighting evil.
But you can't retire. There's evil afoot.
So they decided to live the rest
So
of their
this is
lives
kind
in Bikini
of
Bottom.
taking some
And in order to fit
inspiration
in
from
better with
Lydia
their
the
fellow sea
Bard's.
creatures, they made the permanent decision to
The
shrink themselves
designs of
using
the
Mermaid
mermaids and
Man's
her
shrinking belt.
the animatic for
That case
her
is closed.
her song.
These theories are they're crazy, man. I don't know where he comes up with it. I don't know how he finds it, but the man he's spot on. He is spot on. I believe all of it.
Hey, honey. What do you think of this house?
Maybe someday.
Oh, I love it. You got it.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. The television theory is the best SpongeBob theory I have ever made. Like it's not even close. If you were to ask me if any of my theories were actually intended by the creators, I'd definitely say the television theory. There is just so much evidence that this was actually planned from the start, and now 3 years later, there's a movie that's directly confirming it. This theory literally changes everything about this show, and it's so big that I end up using it in almost all of my future theories, and I've got a bunch of new television theory-related discoveries inside of the coming mini-theories too. Speaking of which...
Scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
So, there's this viral image that's gone around the internet that points out a really funny detail about this show. There seems to be a frightening number of miniature dead human skeletons in SpongeBob. And it's a really funny observation, but it's also really strange because why are there a bunch of mini dead human skeletons in SpongeBob? Like, the animators already have a generic design for a fish skeleton. Why are they going out of their way to make these human skeletons? They're obviously much more detailed and harder to draw. And this is something we see in both early and modern SpongeBob. Well, I think the television theory actually provides a pretty good explanation for this. We know there's tons of human scuba divers secretly filming the show, and it even looks like some of them are fish-sized. And we know there is shrinking technology in this show, so like I've already said, I think it's fair to assume that humans shrunk themselves down to better film these characters undetected. Which explains why we see so many tiny human skeletons. They're the crew members who sadly passed away during the filming of SpongeBob. They are deep underwater after all, it's not the safest place for humans to be. And that's about all I had to say about this topic. It's not actually that interesting. I probably wouldn't have even bothered making this separate mini theory if it wasn't for a very interesting piece of SpongeBob history that was recently made public. The original SpongeBob Pitch Bible, the document created by Steven Hillenburg in 1997 to pitch the show to Nickelodeon, was just recently finally made available to the public. And it is full of fascinating early ideas and concept art for the show. But what's interesting to me is that much like the show itself, the Pitch Bible is presented like a fictional in-universe report from a team of deep-sea divers discovering Bikini Bottom for the first time. An afternoon descent into
Sorry, cut this short, but I'm gonna go to bed.
from
That's okay, Carrion. You I just spat everywhere.
Sponge Boy.
You have a
which
good
was
night.
the original name for SpongeBob.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Glistening in the glow of our dive lamps sat a submerged treasure unlike any other in the world. We were afforded a first-hand glimpse into the character of Sponge Boy and his world. It's crazy that even the Pitch Bible for this show has lore. If this doesn't prove the television theory, I don't know what does. But there's something in this Bible that I always thought was a little strange.
Crab people,
On page
crab
12, there's
people.
a dedication section. It describes one of the first expeditions to Bikini Bottom taken by a deep-sea diver named Bucky Leavitt, using a new and untested diving suit,
Indeed,
which
that art is
ultimately
interesting.
imploded from the undersea pressures. Bucky died making the pioneer spirit that we dedicate this research. It's kind of a strange thing to include in a pitch for a kid's show of all things. The story seems to be inspired by Benjamin Leavitt, the inventor of the suit shown in this photo, but there's no record of him ever dying during an expedition. So it seems like this story about Bucky was completely made up just to add more lore to the show. So it then begs the question, if he is a character in this universe, where is Bucky's body? Could he possibly be one of the human skeletons we've seen throughout the show? Well, we know Bucky died in his old prototype diving suit, so I think his body would probably still be inside of it. So the real question is, do we know of any diving suits in Bikini Bottom? And yes, we do. We see it almost every episode. SpongeBob's television. SpongeBob's TV is clearly supposed to be an old diving suit helmet, but it's strange because it's so small compared to diving suits we've seen worn by other humans. So either this diving suit is from a shrunken human, or it's been compressed down to a smaller size by the pressures of the sea, just like Bucky's. We even see SpongeBob's TV design was a part of the original pitch Bible. I think there's a very good chance that this is supposed to be at least the head of Bucky Leavitt. I think every time SpongeBob is watching TV, he's actually staring directly at a dead human skull. And if you don't believe me, in Season 10's Whirly Brain, SpongeBob and Patrick fight over the TV and actually pull it apart. And for the very first time ever, we get a look inside. It's an extremely fast moment, but if you go frame by frame, you'll see that inside of SpongeBob's TV is what looks like a human skull.
Dun dun
and
dun!
That is Skeleton Theory. Rest in peace, Bucky.
This is Team USA.
We dreamt about this.
Oh, is it time for the Olympics again? Dang, feels like it just happened.
This is not Mrs. Puff. You may think she's just SpongeBob's boating teacher.
Or did it
but
happen?
you'd be
Or did it
very,
happen at all? I can't
very
remember.
wrong. For years, she's been running from her dark and mysterious past, but it's finally caught up to her. And behind it all is a mastermind who's been secretly controlling her life and psychologically torturing her. If you guys thought my last two theories were mind-blowing, get ready for my biggest
Alright, let me save this,
yet.
and then I'm gonna export it into a PNG.
Alex, how do you come up with these crazy conspiracy theories? Well, I always start these theories by looking for
It's
the
a little
moments in the
tedious,
show that
but
seem to be implying more than they're letting on. Like I've said
I'm
before,
trying to
SpongeBob
stay
is a weird
consistent.
show with lots of abstract humor, but I can usually understand the intent the writers had behind a weird joke. But then there's stuff like this.
I hope I still remember how to do this.
Yeah. And it's so confusing and weird that it feels like the writers are trying to imply something beyond just weirdness for the sake of comedy. And nowhere in the show is there more of these moments than with Mrs. Puff. And once I started looking into it, it led me down the deepest rabbit hole I've ever seen from this show. So, let's begin. Mrs. Puff is a boating school teacher in Bikini Bottom. She's passed all of her students except for one, SpongeBob SquarePants. He's taken her driver's test hundreds of times, and he always ends up failing it and causing destruction and chaos that usually ends up with Mrs. Puff going to jail, despite it not really being her fault. We also know that she was once married, but her husband was killed by fishermen.
Alright, I think I want that. Oh, I didn't do the details. I'll do it in a second.
Oh, she's married.
Oh no, Mr. Krabs, she's single.
See, I think I want the notch like right up here.
She doesn't like to talk about it.
Throughout the show, there are moments like this that seem to be hinting at her having a dark, mysterious past. And in Season 2, Episode 10, No Free Rides, we get the biggest clue about who Mrs. Puff really is. After SpongeBob fails the driving test yet again, Mrs. Puff has just had it with him and ends up just giving up and giving him his license, even though he never really passed. She quickly realizes that this is a horrible idea and he'll probably
me and my cousins had that moment a while back. All three of us were sitting on the couch. I just started yelling, "My leg!" One then yelled, "My leg!" and baby cousin went, "My leg!"
Places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor who...
because it's going to be very important later on. And then she says this insanely revealing line.
What have I done? Everyone will know that I let him slide through school. I'll have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name.
No, not again.
No, not again. Come on, it's like they're just begging someone to make a theory about this. So we now know Mrs. Puff was originally from a different town, she used to own a different boating school, and Mrs. Puff isn't even her real name. There's something in her past that she ran away from. Now, there's been some debate over whether she's actually referring to a new name for herself or for her boating school, but I do think she's talking
What?
about her own name. Because if she's trying to run away from something
okay,
in her
I
past,
see.
she wouldn't start a
All
new
right, let me
boating
just-
school with her real name in the title. Now, when she says again, I don't think she's just referring to starting a
Not
new
that.
life.
Let me save real quick.
I let him slide through.
I know, you gotta wait a second, alright? Oh my goodness, you're so impatient. Alright. I'm gonna take Coco outside. I'll be right back. Alright, back to the grind. Sorry about that.
Not again.
I think at her previous boating school, she had a terrible student just like SpongeBob who she prematurely gave a license to, and it led to something so terrible happening that she had to run away and start a whole new life. In Season 3, Episode 5, Doing Time, we get a flashback to when she first opened up the school.
Where did I go wrong? With the opening of my new boating school, I pledge that as long as a student is willing to learn, I shall never give up.
Hi, I'm SpongeBob.
Well, that's her first mistake.
With the opening of this new boating school, let's keep in mind that this is not her first boating school. Maybe the whole reason she's making this pledge now at her second school is because she gave up on a student at her previous school, and that led to her having to run away and start a new life. She's pledging to never make the same mistake again. Now let's skip ahead to one of the newer episodes. Season 12, Episode 21, Lighthouse Louie, where Mrs. Puff has SpongeBob organize all the stuff she keeps in the school's lighthouse. There's lots of interesting things hidden in the background, but the first thing that caught my eye was this file labeled Mrs. Puff. It makes sense for a teacher to have files on all their students, but why would she have a file about herself? But let's remember, she's not Mrs. Puff. That's a fake identity she created, and I'm willing to bet all of her fake identification documents are in this file. Hey, Alex from the future here. This is actually the file from Mrs. Puff You're Fired that shows all the time she's failed to pass SpongeBob, but let's be honest, this was the least impressive evidence in this lighthouse, so I think it's fine. But that's not the only hint about Mrs. Puff's past in this lighthouse. There is something in here that directly confirms all of this. As SpongeBob swallows all of Mrs. Puff's junk, we see something very interesting for only a few frames. Deranged boat
there it
teacher
is.
makes getaway. 10 seasons later, and the creators are still hiding stuff about Mrs. Puff fleeing her old life. It might not look like it at first, but we actually get a ton of new information from this newspaper. This is from the
Oh,
New
you got
Kelp
your
Post, which
donut?
tells us Mrs. Puff
You got
originally
your
lived in New
donut.
Kelp City. Then there's a caption that reads, "Distracts authorities with balloon animals." And do you remember that clip from the beginning?
She loves her
I still
donut toy.
remember how to do this.
Good girl.
Yeah.
So whenever Mrs. Puff makes a
Aw,
getaway
you
or
wanna
commits a crime,
play.
she leaves
You
behind a
wanna
balloon
play.
animal
Give
to
it.
distract
Give it,
the
give it,
police.
give it,
I'm
give it,
telling
give
you
it.
guys, these writers don't just do stuff randomly. They have reasons for everything. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so before we move on, let me talk about this newspaper. This was by far the most direct, unambiguous piece of evidence the show has ever given us for a theory, and I have never found anything else like it in the entire show. It's the white whale of SpongeBob theory evidence. But would you believe me
She's
if I
fighting
told
me
you
for the
that
donut.
This newspaper actually has more hidden information inside of it that I missed. If we look at the storyboard for this episode,
I
we
don't
can
know
see
if y'all
the
can hear her
newspaper
growling.
originally had even more information about Mrs. Puff. Obviously the big one, we now finally know Mrs. Puff's real name, Bobby Blowfish. Originally, we only had the date the newspaper was published, but now we have the year. This is the same year that the SpongeBob pilot came out. And finally, we now know how Mrs. Puff escaped the cops chasing her. In the bottom picture, we see her heading towards a cliff with a sign that says Rock Bottom, a place that only the most skilled drivers could navigate. How is there still so much hidden lore in this newspaper?
I had to make
And
sure
the
my
most
mic was
damning
going.
piece of evidence from this newspaper is actually the picture of Mrs. Puff. Kind of a strange photo, right?
Oh, yeah.
We have seen this exact same photo of her before. In the episode No Free Rides, when she imagines what would happen if SpongeBob got his license.
Consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor.
Oh, yeah.
It's the mugshot!
Mugshot!
Holy fuck, bro! This isn't a conspiracy!
You just want me to throw it,
this
huh?
Is real!
Here.
This means that this isn't just her imagination of what might happen. This is also her remembering what happened when she lived in New Kelp City.
This
and
is not helping
prematurely
me
gave
work.
one of
I
her
hope you
students a
know that.
license. And I'm willing to bet that the fish reporting the news is the exact
Bumble.
same one who reported about her in New Kelp
Get it,
City.
girl.
Let me
Go
explain.
get it.
We know from the episode
Good girl.
Whatever Happened to SpongeBob that reporters from the Bikini Bottom News can also work for the New Kelp City News. But the real reason I think this is because of his hair. In the entire show, we have never seen this fish reporter with hair before. Why would the creators go out of their way to add that detail? Because Mrs. Puff isn't imagining him as he looks now. She's
Where's it going?
remembering him
Where's it
from
going?
years
Where's it
ago
going?
when he used
Whoa,
to
where's
have
it going?
hair when
Oh,
he
yeah.
reported about her in New Kelp City. But how does he have hair if he's a
Get up there.
robot? Alright, listen, when you make 8 crazy different
Get up there.
theories, sometimes they're not all gonna perfectly line up.
Oh
Okay,
my
what are
goodness.
you
Get
gonna
up
do?
there. You can
Mrs.
jump
Puff
up there.
has been running from her past ever since, and is now forced to relive her experience with an unteachable student through SpongeBob. But reliving this trauma has pushed her to the point of complete insanity. And trust me when I say that you have no idea how delusional she actually is.
Little bit of a play break with the dog.
Another running gag throughout the series is Mrs. Puff's occasional nervous breakdowns or moments of insanity because of SpongeBob, and they get more severe as the show continues. At first she did care for SpongeBob, but in the newer episodes she literally tries to kill SpongeBob just to get him out of her life. Even SpongeBob just walking up to her gives her severe PTSD.
Hi, Mrs. Puff.
Hit the brakes! SpongeBob! Watch the tree! Laugh!
Wait, Mrs. Puff! We're not driving!
But these mostly seem like just one-off moments, and for the most part, Mrs. Puff is still a functioning member of society, right? I'm going to show you that she's actually much more
This is gonna be much
delusional than you may think. And some of the episodes
here.
she's in take place
Come here,
entirely in her own head. If we're talking about how insane Mrs.
Don't growl
Puff
at
is,
me, I
there is
raised
no
you.
better place to start than the episode Doing Time. Once again, SpongeBob fails the voting test and causes destruction and chaos, which leads to Mrs. Puff going to jail. SpongeBob keeps breaking into jail to try and bust her out, but Mrs. Puff actually prefers being in jail over teaching him. We actually get another
What was I
interesting line
saying?
about Mrs. Puff's past in this episode.
Oh yeah, the hair is gonna be this hair for this. The hair for this concept is gonna be much longer.
So we
Once
know
I get
that
to
Mrs.
the
Puff
full
has lost her sanity
body.
in the past, probably from her previous terrible student. But it seems like she's recovered since then, except in this episode she has a complete mental breakdown. SpongeBob keeps appearing in impossible places until she gets thrown into solitary confinement, where each wall of the room transforms into a giant SpongeBob face. And then the episode ends in a way that's so weird and confusing that it rivals the infamous gorilla episode ending. As Mrs. Puff freaks out, she's suddenly transported back into the beginning of the episode when SpongeBob was taking the test. Except this time, SpongeBob gets arrested instead of her.
No! This is not a good time! No! I can't believe it! It was all a dream! I'm not going to jail!
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time.
Forget it.
So what's really going on in this episode? Was the ending all in her head? Is Mrs. Puff just caught in an endless loop? I think this entire episode is inside of Mrs. Puff's head, and she's actually on the outside the whole time, but she's been imagining herself inside of prison. I can explain. Listen closely to what the police officer tells
Oh
Mrs.
shit,
Puff.
this needs to be lower a little bit.
Going to jail?
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time.
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time. And then revealing she's still in a prison uniform despite being on the outside. So this scene is obviously inside of her head, which means everything we see is symbolic. And if we can understand the symbolism of it, we can understand what's really going on with Mrs. Puff.
Sometimes it's
Notice
hard
how
for me
she's
to
suddenly
stay
wearing a black
consistent
and white
with my
striped
art.
prison uniform, even though the entire episode she's been
I
wearing
have to
this
like
orange
constantly
jumpsuit.
check if
Why
I'm
would the
doing
creators
something
go to
right.
the extra effort to draw a whole new prison uniform for her? Well, we've seen her wear this black and white prison uniform before. The very first time she went to prison.
Ooh,
back
that
in
coffee's
season
still too
1,
hot.
Episode 7, Hall Monitor. So when the police officer says, "You've already done your time," he's referring to the first time she went to jail. But why is she still wearing that uniform outside of prison? Well, she may have gotten out of jail, but she was by no means free. Having to teach SpongeBob is a prison in itself, and she manifests that by believing she's in jail and wearing a prison uniform despite being on the outside. This entire episode, every time SpongeBob magically appears, is all inside of her head. She is completely delusional.
You know, she's
It means that
manifesting
experiencing these
her
hallucinations. Don't stop there.
insane
Just 6
downfall.
episodes later, she goes to a house party SpongeBob throws.
Oh,
And while
shit.
everyone is talking and having a good time, in the background we see she's literally sitting by herself talking to an ice sculpture of SpongeBob. You can't tell me this isn't intentional. I mean, look at this. By herself.
No fucking way! You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. That is
You know, I never
insane.
noticed
That
that
is
until
actually
the first
insane.
time I
Now,
saw
back
that
in the
video
episode
too.
No Free Rides, there is a very strange picture inside of Mrs. Puff's home. It's a picture of Mrs. Puff inside of a picture of Mrs. Puff inside of a picture of Mrs. Puff, creating an infinite loop. This is something that has confused SpongeBob fans for years. But like everything in the show, there is a reason for it being there. One of the SpongeBob storyboard artists actually called it the biggest mystery in the entire show. If you think about it, this is just like the end of Doing Time, where she's stuck in an infinite loop of SpongeBob failing the driving test. Because it's all symbolic. symbolic of what her life is. Just an endless cycle of SpongeBob taking the test and failing, and no matter what she does to try and escape, she always ends up back in the same place at the end of the episode. So this picture is another symbolic manifestation of what she's feeling. We even see another one of these pictures all the way in Season 9, Episode 5, Bumper to Bumper. And hey, we got another one in Season 13, Potato Puff. This is something that the show is consistently alluding to. Mrs. Puff is an unreliable narrator, and anything we see with her could potentially all be inside of her own head. In fact, I believe I found another episode that takes place inside of her head. In Season 9, Episode 17, SpongeBob
Why am I so bad at
SpongeBob
lips?
goes to a different boating instructor and actually gets his license. But as soon as he does, we briefly cut to Mrs. Puff waking up.
You pass.
I finally got my driver's license!
Lock your doors, bar your windows, it's the end of the world!
Now, this seems like it's probably just a throwaway gag where Mrs. Puff somehow senses that SpongeBob got his license, and it causes her to wake up and freak out. You know, it's a good bit, it's funny, but I have a question. If the joke is that she's supposed to be waking up at the exact time SpongeBob gets his license, how come she wakes up at night when SpongeBob clearly gets his license during the day? Because this entire episode actually takes place inside of Mrs. Puff's head. And this is the only part of the episode in the real world.
I don't know what that was all about, but I'm glad it's over.
Originally, I paused the theory here to explain how we're able to see her hallucinations, even though I claim the show is supposed to be a nature documentary in my television theory. But if everything's supposed to be from a camera, then how are we seeing things from inside Mrs. Puff's head? In fact, how do we see dreams and flashbacks and thought bubbles? But I already explained that in my new imagination mini theory, so definitely check that one out if you missed it. It adds a whole new layer to why Mrs. Puff is hallucinating so much.
It all goes back
theory,
to
we know that her insanity is causing her to live a life of
imagination.
delusion. But if you remember back to the Lighthouse episode, she's also become an extreme hoarder. And looking at her collection of junk is like a look directly into her mind. So there's gotta be something we can learn about her from it. There's a picture of her boyfriend, Mr. Krabs, the hall monitor belt she gives her students, the main drawings her students make her, SpongeBob's
Your imagination
diary,
can
voted
sometimes
safety
be your
homemade-
most powerful weapon.
SpongeBob's diary? Why does she have SpongeBob's diary? The last time we saw that, it was safely put away in SpongeBob's library. What's it doing in her lighthouse? And why does she have Squidward's painting? And a table from the Krusty Krab? And SpongeBob's bike? And Squidward's teddy bear? And the hair curlers Mr. Krabs had? Okay, so technically those were originally Mrs. Puff's hair curlers.
Even Mrs. Puff's hair curlers?
That one was a gift.
But it's implied that Mr. Krabs stole them from her, so her having them now probably means she stole them back. It still works for the point I'm trying to make. And that statue of Squidward? And that diamond ring? And that crown? And that bucket of radioactive waste? And that jellyfish sign? Oh my god. Mrs. Puff is a kleptomaniac. Mrs. Puff has been stealing from everyone in Bikini Bottom. I can even prove that her pet snail from Season 3, Episode 19 was stolen.
My snail is up a tree. I've had her since I was a little girl. No!
You've had that snail since you've been a little girl, huh? Then how come that is the exact same snail Squidward had 4 episodes ago in the Great Snail Race?
I wouldn't let Snelly here play with that mongrel mutt. She's a purebred. See, she even has her own papers.
He even has her
Oh,
paperwork. Mrs. Puff clearly
no!
stole the snail from Squidward. But why the hell would Mrs. Puff steal all
Oh
this
shit,
other
I
junk?
forgot to
What
turn off
possible
my
use
BRB
could she
sign.
have for any of it? We could find the answer to that question by looking at this green hat and this purple jacket. These were gifts Mr. Krabs bought her on their first date, but she ended up feeling uncomfortable receiving them and gave them back to him.
I'm afraid I just don't feel comfortable accepting all these gifts.
Except apparently she's not too uncomfortable to steal them back afterwards. So clearly Mrs. Puff isn't stealing this stuff because she wants to use it. She just steals for the thrill of it. Maybe stealing things is her way of coping with the insanity of her everyday life. And remember, this isn't the first time she's gone insane.
You can get through this without losing your sanity. Oh, that's a road we don't want to go down again.
In fact, I have reason to believe that she started stealing things way back whenever she first went insane.
I hope I still remember how to do this.
I don't think she's just talking about remembering how to make balloon animals. She's probably also referring to remembering how to steal a boat. And if that's not enough for you, in a SpongeBob comic book, she actually admits that she used to rob banks, and she wears the exact same ski mask. Ooh, and we can see the ski mask in the newspaper storyboard. That's cool. Mrs. Puff lives a completely delusional and miserable life, all because she has to teach SpongeBob how to drive. It's led her to steal from the people she cares about and completely disassociate from reality. But That begs a very important question. If SpongeBob is causing her life to be so miserable, then why does she even keep teaching him? After all the destruction and pain he's caused, she'd totally be justified to expel him, right? I mean,
This
she would literally
might
try
just
and
be
kill
me
him so she
popping
doesn't
off.
have to teach him, but for some reason she can't just
I think the
expel
ice
him.
sculpture made
It's
for better
almost like there's someone
conversation than the actual
forcing her
SpongeBob
to
to
teach
her.
SpongeBob.
Damn it!
Back to the episode No Free Rides. After prematurely giving SpongeBob a license, she steals his boatmobile so he can't hurt anyone. In the end, this causes her to get arrested and go to
when I
jail.
get in trouble
but then
for showing
SpongeBob
ads
tells
when
her
I'm not
this.
monetized
Besides,
on other
the warden
videos.
says she'll let you go early if you do her a favor.
What's that?
Free
What?
driving lessons.
She'll get to leave prison early if she gives free driving lessons. That seems like an oddly specific requirement. And that's not the only time this gets mentioned either. In Season 9, Episode 5,
Alright,
Bumper to Bumper,
let's go
we
over
get
to
this
the
scene.
full body.
If only SpongeBob could pass his boating test, he'd be out of my life once and for all. Unfortunately,
wait,
I keep getting reminded of the consequences
I
if
forgot
I
to
get
add the
too
details. Hang
angry
on.
with the little nuisance.
Consequences. Are you telling me that if she refuses to teach SpongeBob specifically,
Oh, lay
she'll
down,
be
baby, it's
violating
okay.
her parole and get sent back to jail? Why does the prison even care if Mrs. Puff teaches SpongeBob? Is it just part of some weird community service? But things start to get really suspicious at the
I
end
know
of
I'm
Season
going like
7,
a little
Episode
slow
5,
for this,
Summer
and
Job.
I do
Once again,
apologize
Mrs.
for
Puff
that.
ends up in jail, but this time she's forced to go to a prison boating school.
Oh, wow! A driver's education class!
Good day, class.
Oh, her worst nightmare!
Me having a nightmare! What's he doing here?
Dear Mrs. Puff, I'm following in your footsteps and got a job as a driver's ed teacher for the summer.
Who in their
Lay
right
down.
mind would hire SpongeBob to do this after he's literally destroyed the city countless times while driving? Is this just another one of Mrs. Puff's delusions? Or is the prison intentionally forcing her to be around SpongeBob just to torture her? I mean, look at the way the guard forces her to sit there and listen to him.
Get me out of here!
And look at that evil smile he has as he watches her endure this torture. There is something very strange going on with this prison. Then, in Season 10, Episode 8, The Getaway, Mrs. Puff meets a criminal named Dorsal Dan and starts to get romantic feelings for him. This is also while she's still dating Mr. Krabs. Shame on you, Mrs. Puff. At the end of the episode, they both accidentally land
You
in
know,
prison,
pufferfish
the
and
warden
crabs
leaves
are
him in solitary
natural
confinement.
enemies.
I found this one pulling up outside the prison. Dorsal Dan, a notorious getaway driver. Toss him the clink.
I'll wait for you, my little tender boy.
She says
Room full
tenderfoot
of
here,
SpongeBob
by the
and
way,
twin-
because he was really good
Worst
at driving.
nightmare.
A lot of people thought she said something else. In or out of jail, this prison will stop at nothing to make sure she is alone and miserable. But why? Who's behind all of this? Why would anyone care this much about torturing Mrs. Puff? Who's the mastermind pulling the strings? Well, maybe it has something to do with her old life in New Kelp City. Maybe she crossed someone and they've been plotting their revenge ever since. But I've looked in every single frame of New Kelp City, and there is nothing connecting it back to the prison. I've looked literally everywhere, and there's not a single person from the city that has anything to do with Mrs. Puff.
Didn't know that.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah,
maybe
the
except for
pufferfish is a
the
crab's
literal warden of
natural
the prison she's
predator.
being kept in. He may be hiding slightly off screen, but that is
Their
clearly the
bites
same
is
warden
strong
of the
enough to
Bikini Bottom
crack
prison.
open the
And this
crab's
isn't some
shell.
random background character that the show reuses all the time. He is a very distinct character. You can call me out on the Squilliam video all you want, but not this time. I've got some new thoughts on this mastermind warden theory, but I'll save them for the next mini theory. But wait a second. If the warden was originally from New Kelp City, then he'd probably know about Mrs. Puff's dark past and her true identity. So why hasn't he exposed her? He's just kept quiet about the fact that one of his inmates is living a completely false identity. She'd probably even get more prison time when they find out who she
That would
really
not make
is.
for a
So
good TV
why hasn't he said
personality.
anything?
It keeps
This is where
slouching a
things
little
get
bit.
very interesting. So, we know Mrs.
keep
Puff
reminding myself
prematurely
to
gave a
fix
student
my
at her original
posture.
boating school a license, and that led to them causing chaos and destruction. Maybe this student accidentally did something terrible to the warden.
Yo,
and he's
maybe
blamed
she's
Mrs.
leading
Puff
crabs
ever
on
since.
so she
Whatever
can eat
happened
'em.
was so terrible that it caused him to move to Bikini Bottom and get a job as the warden of the town's prison. And to his surprise, he finds out that one of his inmates is actually the
Yo,
person
this is actually
kind
kinda
of for that
sexy.
terrible thing happening. This works out perfectly for him.
Oh, yeah.
He can finally get his revenge on Mrs. Puff by making her life miserable.
I'm
All
liking
he has
the-
to
I'm
do
liking
is
the
reveal
long
her dark
hair.
secret, and she'll be stuck in jail for much longer. Except for one small issue with his plan. Mrs. Puff actually likes being in prison.
One day down, 2,528 to go. Oh, that's just shy of 4 years without SpongeBob. I'm going to enjoy this.
So, he comes up with a new plan. Keep Mrs. Puff secret and let her out of prison early, but only under the condition that she has to teach SpongeBob. He's literally turning her normal life into a prison. And he makes sure going back to prison to avoid SpongeBob isn't even an option for her
Yeah, it's
anymore,
fine.
because he'll make sure that SpongeBob is always in there with her. And he's not gonna let her escape and start a new life like she did in New Kelp City. He makes sure to give her an ankle bracelet that doesn't let her leave Bikini Bottom.
I can't even leave town without violating my parole.
He is the mastermind who's been controlling everything this entire time. Alright, gonna
I mean,
interrupt here. The
there's the
warden
chum
that
bucket.
told Mrs. Puff she
There
could
is,
leave
yeah.
prison if she gave free driving lessons was actually referred to as a female.
And besides, the warden says she'll let you go early if you do her a favor.
So that's my bad. That definitely wasn't the same warden. It doesn't ruin my theory, but like I said, I've got some new ideas for this part that I'll talk about later. But guess what? His insidious plan doesn't even end there. This is not the first time we've seen the warden character. We first see him in Season 4, Episode 2, Crabs vs. Plankton. In this episode, Plankton slips on some water in the Krusty Krab and decides to sue Mr. Krabs for everything he owns. And then guess who shows up out of nowhere and offers to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer?
What I really need is a good lawyer.
Whoa, did somebody say lawyer? Richard A. Bottom Feeder, attorney at law. I couldn't help but notice that despicable display.
Richard A. Bottom Feeder, the warden of the Bikini Bottom prison, is also apparently a lawyer? That's kind of strange. Those both sound like major careers. You usually wouldn't imagine someone being both. Then he says he'll be Mr. Krabs' lawyer completely free of charge.
So, how much is this gonna cost me?
Actually, I won't charge a dime unless we win.
Well, that's awfully generous of you, Richard. Alright, a
If
lot
you
of people
think
point
about
out
it,
that this
chum
is
bu-
actually something
chum is
lawyers
fish-
sometimes
fish
do,
guts,
but
which
when you add it up
fishermen
with
use to
everything
feed
else,
sharks.
it's still kind of suspicious.
Oh yeah, you throw some of them in the water, the
He
sharks
seems
go
very
nuts for
confident
it.
that he can win the case, but right before he goes to court, he slips on some water and says SpongeBob will have to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer now.
Oh, this is gonna be a slam dunk.
Mr. Krabs' lawyer, speak to me!
Wrapped with pain, can't move. Looks like you're gonna have to handle this one, son.
He tells SpongeBob that he has to represent Mr. Krabs, even though he himself called SpongeBob a liability.
Actually, SpongeBob, we won't be needing any testimony from you. Why, you'd be more of a liability than an asset.
But it's okay, because apparently all SpongeBob needs to win is inside of Richard's briefcase.
Everything you need to win is in this here case.
Really? Everything?
Except when SpongeBob gets to court, he realizes that Richard never gave him the combination to the case.
It's, all in here.
Really?
Yep, right in here.
Is there a problem?
Your lawyer didn't give me the combination.
Either Richard
Hey,
A. Bottom
Pedals,
Feeder
welcome to
is
the
the worst
stream. How
lawyer in
are
history,
you?
Or this is all part of his elaborate plan to ruin Mrs. Puff's life. Here's what I think happened. First, he finds
have
out
to
that
stay
Mr.
up
Krabs
extra
is
late
being
to
sued,
prepare
and
for a
he wants to
14-hour
ensure that
night
Mr. Krabs
shift. How are
loses
you?
the case
I'm a
because
shark.
he wants to destroy any chance Mrs. Puff has at finding love. So he
Do you
pretends
go
to be a
crazy for
lawyer,
chum
even
if it's
offering
thrown
his
in the
services
water?
for free, something Mr. Krabs can't resist. He makes Mr. Krabs feel confident that they're gonna win the case, and then at the last second, he pretends to get into an accident so he can't represent Mr. Krabs. Instead of finding a real lawyer to replace him, he tells the most incompetent person for the job, SpongeBob, that he has to be Mr. Krabs' lawyer. And he gives him a case that allegedly has all the answers in it without actually giving SpongeBob the combination,
And,
setting him up for a total failure.
The late
in
night
court.
shift at
Richard A. Bottom
14-hour
Feeder
late night
refuses
shift,
to
though.
let
That sounds
anyone
rough.
get close to Mrs. Puff. Not Dorsal Dan and not Mr. Krabs. This guy has squillion levels of hate for Mrs. Puff. But why? What exactly did her previous student do that warrants this much torture? It can't be something as simple as him or his property getting damaged. It has to be something life-changing. Something like losing a loved one because of the student's reckless driving. And I think the show gives us one last hint about who this might have been. All the pictures of Mrs. Puff's house are very meaningful to her. She's got photos of Mr. Krabs, her pet snail, and of course those infinitely looping photos that told us so much about her mental state. But there is one more photo in this house that might be the key to this entire
that looks
conspiracy.
too straight.
In season 12, episode 14, Plankton's old chum, we see a photo of someone we've never seen before on Mrs. Puff's wall. There's some surprising similarities between this character and Richard. The green color, the red bow tie, the overall fancy,
No, it's Petals
serious
with a
appearance.
D.
It clearly isn't the same person, but maybe this is someone related to Richard, like a father, a son, or a brother that Mrs. Puff's former student killed. And the reason she keeps a photo of him up is to have a permanent reminder to never make the same mistake of giving someone a license who doesn't deserve it. Mrs. Puff is a boating school teacher who once made a terrible mistake that led to the loss of her business, identity, sanity, and any chance at finding happiness. I like to think that there used to be a time when she was happy, back when her husband was still alive. If only he was still around today, maybe she wouldn't have to face all of this on her own. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Is what I would say if I was done, except her husband is still alive.
What? It just keeps going.
In the SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob and Patrick travel to a gift shop named Shell City that's full of dead fish turned into knickknacks and ornaments. Except they end up setting up the smoke detector, which activates the sprinkler system and brings all the dead fish back to life, including a very familiar-looking pufferfish hanging from the ceiling.
You don't want to go
Puff
out there. It's
is
raining.
alive. Well, wait a second. If he's alive and he escaped, then why hasn't he
Hey
gone back
Flash,
to Mrs.
how's it
Puff?
going? Welcome
Why
to the
is she
stream.
still alone?
Coco.
Because remember, she ran away from their home in New Kelp City
Really?
and started a new identity. So sadly, Mr. Puff has no
Wanna
way
say
of
that to
finding
the
her.
mic?
The tragedy of Mrs. Puff's story is that her happiness is just a city away, but she can never even leave town because that would violate her
so people
parole.
can hear you.
Richard A. Bottomfeeder probably even knows her husband is alive and is making sure they're never reunited. As the name says, Richard really is a bottom feeder.
Incredibly
excited because we get to talk to the voice
yes, you
of
are.
Karen
Good
today,
girl.
Jill
Sorry.
Talley.
I love
Had to pause
trying
for
to make sense out of
had to
SpongeBob.
pause for head
My
pats.
adorable nephew called me up and he just was like, hey, Jill.
She's
Jill,
having
do you
like
know about this?
a
What
love-hate
do you make of
relationship
this? Like, what do you
with
think about
baby
this
cousin.
Mrs. Puff? And
I don't know
didn't
what's
what he was
up
talking
with that.
about. It was like a fever
Good. How
dream
about you?
because
Doing
I
all
wasn't
right.
aware of all the conspiracy stuff. So all I'm hearing on the phone is criminal, past clues. What is he talking about? I said, I'm going to look into it, Frankie. So then I went online and I started looking at it, and it was fascinating. I was in. I was going, I want to know too.
Let's see that again. She opens the Gemini app, snaps a pic, crosses out part of her hair, and asks for a new color that complements
Shit,
her
I just
undertones.
clicked on something I didn't want to click on.
So, the Mrs. Puff theory. I guess maybe a few people might have watched this one. Yeah, so this is the one that really took off, and for good reason. It's really the one theory where the creators just straight up unambiguously hand us the lore. You know, as opposed to
Coco
the usual
hyperactive
vague
as a rock
details and Easter eggs that may or may not be
No,
hinting at
rock roughs
something.
are friendly.
But
She's
how does
not.
it hold up now? Well, you might be surprised to hear that I'd probably only put it in 4th place. I think the first 2/3 are really strong, and it could have been one of
She's
my
like-
best theories, but then I kind of go on this
What's
weird
the-
tangent in the 3rd part with this random background warden character
Why am
with
I
a bunch
blanking
of
on this?
assumptions and a kind of weak final connection to this vaguely similar picture. I think I just really wanted to give this theory more of a sense of closure
Not the
and a
Mabastif,
final
but-
big twist, but that ultimately made it feel kind of forced in the end.
one
But
that
I have
evolves-
since ended up
that
coming up
it
with so many new
evolves
ideas and
from.
discoveries for this theory that I decided to just make
The
the next
little
mini
ones.
theory just a straight up Mrs. Puff Part 2. So if we pretend like this new stuff was always part of the theory, I think I'll bump it up to 2nd place where it rightfully
Houndor?
belongs.
Maybe.
So without further ado,
I can
here
see her
is the
spitting
Mrs.
fire.
Puff theory Part 2.
Or, yeah.
So, there's been a lot of new evidence that's come
I'm
out
kinda
about
liking
Mrs.
the
Puff
long hair
since I
concept,
posted my
though.
theory. Some I already added to the main theory, like her real name being
I
discovered.
might be having
so go watch that
too
if you
much
haven't
fun
already.
with it. It
But
might not
I
work
saved
for
some really
PS1
cool
because the
discoveries
PS1
and new
vibe I
ideas
wanna
just
go
for
for,
this
though.
mini theory. Like in Lighthouse Louie,
Luciana?
I missed this the first time, but if you look closely in her pile of junk, you can actually see
No, I
a
can kinda
dead
see that
police
too.
officer's corpse. Oh my god! Ah! Ah! Actually, no. This is just an obstacle. from her training course. But I bet you didn't know, in Camp Coral, we see her dispose of the real Mrs. Puff's dead body! Also no, this is just a piñata that looks like her.
Quit playing with me, man!
Trying to mess with us at this point. Before I get into the actual new discoveries, I want to talk about some alternative ideas I've come up with for some parts of the Mrs. Puff theory. As I've already said, I'm not the biggest fan of where I took the third part of this theory. I really wanted there to be this big reveal about why the prison is forcing Mrs. Puff to teach SpongeBob, when in reality, it just makes so much more sense that, like in Doing Time, every time Mrs. Puff sees SpongeBob in jail, she's actually just hallucinating.
Good day, class. I must be having a nightmare.
You know, there's just way more direct evidence in the show to support this, as opposed to this convoluted warden theory. And it's further supported by my new imagination mini theory from earlier in this video. We know the show exists in a world where things you imagine can easily come to life. And Mrs. Puff is constantly imagining her fear of SpongeBob or the guilt from her past mistakes. So it makes sense that she would get trapped in her own delusions so often. But there's always been this big loose end in my theory that I've always wanted to find a way to wrap up. We know Mrs. Puff prematurely gave a license to one of her previous students in New Kelp City, and that led to the city being destroyed.
Local consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor.
But who was Mrs. Puff's original student before SpongeBob? And while we haven't gotten any new evidence about this, I think I've got two strong candidates for who it could be. One of the best comments I got from the Mrs. Puff video was the idea that the original student was actually SpongeBob's cousin, Stanley S. Squarepants.
Hi, Squidward. I'd like you to meet my cousin Stanley. We're related.
There's two of them?
Stanley is a character we meet for only one episode in Season 5. He's SpongeBob's cousin from out of town, and he's extremely accident-prone, even more than SpongeBob.
Yo, another episode with Stanley.
Now,
I wonder how that would go.
We don't know what town he's from, but we know his Uncle Sherm sent him away because he was too destructive. So he totally fits the idea of Mrs. Puff's former student that probably destroyed New Kelp City. It would also add another layer to why Mrs. Puff is so tortured by SpongeBob specifically. He would literally look and act exactly like her former student.
There's two of them?
So yeah, I think this is totally plausible. Great comment. The only thing that kind of holds this theory back is the lack of any actual concrete connection between Stanley and Mrs. Puff. Like, unfortunately, they're never in the same
two of
episode. But I think I have another possible candidate for this mystery student. Someone we actually see interact with Mrs. Puff. In the Mrs. Puff theory, I theorized that the entire episode Doing Time was all imagined by Mrs. Puff. And everything we see, even small details like her changing prison uniforms, are symbolic.
I think the showrunners know exactly what they're doing with all this, and they're making money from people theorizing
it. What does this random other prisoner that keeps showing up symbolize?
Hey there, Puff Mama. What's today's grub?
Hi, Donna. It's chilly.
I wouldn't have thought much about it if it wasn't for this very interesting moment where she returns at the end of the episode.
It's just my imagination again.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili?
I think this could be implying that Donna is Mrs. Puff's original student. We see her driving Mrs. Puff's boat in a free-fall crash, just like her old student probably also did. And then she literally gets replaced by SpongeBob.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama?
Maybe.
Chili?
Forget it.
Just like how he actually replaced her original student. So yeah, I think both Donna and Stanley are pretty good candidates for the original student. Stanley is a bit more
would you send me the notification
but Donna
now?
Actually has some direct evidence in the show.
I bought a book for this Kindle I just got.
That's all just tying up loose ends. The real
and I just now got the notification about the purchase
is because of two major new developments in recent SpongeBob episodes. The first is in the season 13 episode, Arbor Day Disarray.
Hours
in this
ago.
episode, Sandy gives everyone trees
I guess
she grew,
money
and
just
we
got
get
went through
between Mrs. Puff and her tree.
I love talking to someone who knows how to keep a secret. I can finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
What really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City? they're still adding more mysteries to solve about Mrs. Puff. It sounds like Mrs. Puff did some kind of
it's a very
heist,
interesting
or maybe
read,
has
though.
some connection to Shell City from the SpongeBob movie. And if you remember, I theorized that Shell City was the place Mr. Puff, her former dead husband, was being held.
They end up setting off the smoke
I
detector,
could probably
which
talk a little bit
activates the
about
sprinkler
it,
system
like-
and brings all the dead fish back to life, including a very familiar-looking pufferfish
maybe
hanging
maybe
from the
I
ceiling.
can.
Mr. Puff is alive.
So, is it possible this
I just don't
job
recommend that
is
you
somehow
read it
related
if you're
to
under
Mr.
the age
Puff?
of 18.
Well, before we get into that, there is one more new development we need to talk about. In the season 14 episode, Hysterical History, for the very first time ever, we
Amygdala
actually
by
do
Sam
get
Fenna.
to definitively see Mr. Puff
Shell
when he was
City!
alive.
Bikini Bottom's own titan of industry, Mr.
So I
Puff,
remember Sam
ran the
Fenna,
first
like,
successful
back
boat
when he was
assembly
doing the
So
Satellite
this episode
City.
is just a bunch of flashbacks from Bikini Bottom's
Controversial.
history, and
He's
we
a very
learn that
controversial
Mr. Puff
person, but I
was
think he's
actually
like
a
mellowed
wealthy
out
businessman
over the
who
years.
ran a boat factory. And Sandy later confirms that this is all actually true. This isn't just a story SpongeBob made up. Now, Mr. Puff looks and sounds a lot like Mrs. Puff.
I've only read the prologue so
And
far,
the other
and
flashbacks in this episode
he
seem to be
has-
about ancestors of
he
our main
is-
characters.
his prose
so
are, like,
maybe this is actually supposed to be just
very
a
nicely
relative
made.
of
He
Mrs.
has a
Puff,
colorful
not her
way of
dead
describing
husband. But
the
remember,
world that
Mrs.
he
Puff
created.
is not originally from Bikini Bottom, and we know her last name isn't really Puff. It's Blowfish. So this is
I could
most
imagine,
likely
like,
her
I
former
could
husband,
imagine what
Mr.
one of
Puff,
his characters
before
looked
he
like
died.
before I saw
And
her picture.
unfortunately, this does seem to disprove
was
my
really
Mr.
good.
Puff theory, because he clearly looks very different than the pufferfish we see
The man's
in
an
Shell
absolute
City.
edgelord.
But even if this pufferfish wasn't
But
Mr. Puff, I don't
Dan, does
think
he
I was
not-
wrong about
but
Mr.
he
Puff
is
being
really-
at Shell
he's
City.
a
The
really
fact
good
that he's
author.
shown as a dried up, hanging pufferfish with googly eyes is way too similar to be a
Again, I do
coincidence.
not.
And then there's the
I
fact
would
that
not
they just
recommend this
confirmed
book
Mrs.
if
Puff
you're
has
under
some
the
sort
age of
history
18.
with Shell City specifically. I think
There's a
Mr.
lot
Puff
of freaky
was
stuff that
abducted
goes on
and
in his-
taken to
his
Shell
art.
City, but the reason why we don't see him in the SpongeBob movie is probably because he was already sold to someone else by that point, meaning he was unfortunately never saved by SpongeBob. So that leaves us with one final question. What was the job Mrs. Puff pulled at Shell City, and what does it have to do with her husband's death? Well, my first guess is that this job was some sort of rescue mission to save Mr. Puff from Shell City.
I
And she
really got
failed.
it, like,
But
out of
listen to
curiosity,
how
and the
she
Kindle
talks
version
about it.
was $9.
Finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
Whatever happened at Shell City, she's happy about it. In fact, it's kind of a sinister,
I wasn't even
nefarious
listening to that book.
What really happened when I pulled that job?
She's not devastated that her husband was lost forever.
Yeah, sorry, I
She's
kind of
happy
like.
about it.
I kind
never
of like
really
went off.
considered this
I kind of
before,
like went
but
off
could
topic
Mrs.
here.
Puff actually be responsible for her husband's death? Did Mrs. Puff kill her husband? I mean, we know Plankton sold Neptune's crown to Shell City.
I just wanted to say
Sounds
thanks
interesting.
again for selling me the crown. I sold it to a guy in Shell
The
City.
world
So it
he
does seem
has created
possible to
for his
arrange for
story
this kind of thing
is
to
a world of
happen.
absolute
And Arbor Day
chaos
Disarray
where the
ends with
inhabitants are
Mrs.
trying
Puff's
to like
tree ratting her out to the
civilize
police.
it or something.
Hello,
Again, I've only read the
I got a
prologue
lead
so
on that
far,
Shell City job.
but still, I'm very impressed by the prose that he uses.
Why would the Bikini Bottom police care about something she did at a human gift shop? I mean, they didn't care when SpongeBob stole from there. The only explanation is that she wasn't stealing from humans, she was giving them something, or someone, from Bikini Bottom, Mr. Puff. Mrs. Puff arranged for fishermen to kidnap and kill her husband. That's what really happened at Shell City.
Holy shit!
Why? Well, other than Mr. Puff kind of seeming like a jerk who mistreats his employees, he's also very wealthy. which means that when he died, in a way that can't be traced back to Mrs. Puff, as his wife, she would inherit his money. Which explains how Mrs. Puff, who previously had to abandon her entire life and start over from scratch in Bikini Bottom, could afford to open a massive boating school. Maybe this was her plan all along. Get close to some rich jerk, marry him, and then have him killed to inherit his money. These little breadcrumbs they've given us have told us so much more about Mrs. Puff's past. But also, maybe, just maybe, her future as well.
Very.
Mr. Puff was portrayed as a greedy, unethical capitalist
there are
who only
people
cared
who
about money, even at the
actually do
expense
this.
of his employees. And does that remind you
A
of
lot of
anyone
them
else
get caught
in Mrs.
though.
Puff's
Well,
life?
some of them get caught. I don't know a lot of them.
Unhand that penny or the arm comes off. Keep on trucking, SpongeBob.
How could you trade SpongeBob
Oh,
for
no.
62 cents?
You think I could have gotten more?
If she did it to Mr. Puff, who's to say she's not planning to do it again to Mr. Krabs? Maybe this is the entire reason why she's dating him. Let's just hope Mr. Krabs isn't planning on getting married anytime soon. The imaginary doppelganger Mr. Krabs, that is. And that is the Mrs. Puff theory, part 2.
The people I see.
Yo, remember when I said that Mrs. Puff is probably dating him just to eat him later?
Are the Bikini Bottom citizens the result
Oh,
of
this one gets really dark, so prepare for that.
nuclear radiation? Who is Pearl's mother? What is the Krabby Patty's secret formula? These are by far the 3 biggest questions in the show SpongeBob SquarePants, and today I'm going to be answering all 3 of them and more with just one theory. Get ready for the darkest SpongeBob conspiracy you'll ever see. This is the evolution theory. By far, the most popular SpongeBob theory out there is the Bikini Atoll nuclear radiation theory. It's pretty simple. It's been confirmed that Bikini Bottom is actually beneath a real-life place called Bikini Atoll. From 1946 to 1958, the United States did nuclear tests there, devastating the area and leaving it radioactive even to this day. The theory states that the reason why the citizens of Bikini Bottom can talk and have formed advanced societies is because of mutations caused by these nuclear tests. And that's about the whole theory. Even though there's tons and tons of videos about it, none of them actually go in depth with it or really look through the show for evidence. But y'all know that if Alex Bale is making a theory on it, then it's not going to be some baby surface level analysis. And once I really started looking into this theory, I realized that there is so much more here than anyone thinks. Get ready, because today we're going to be solving the biggest mysteries in the history of SpongeBob SquarePants and changing the way you look at the entire show. So without further ado, let's begin the theory. In order to find out whether the Bikini Atoll theory is true, we first have to determine whether fish talking and being so intelligent is unique to Bikini Bottom, or if that's just the way the SpongeBob universe works. You know, it could just be that all animals in this world are able to talk, and that's completely normal because at the end of the day, SpongeBob is still just a cartoon. Well, if we take a look at Season 10, Episode 10, Feral Friends, we get a bit of a hint about how the SpongeBob world works. In this episode, a green moon appears and transforms all the characters into less cartoony, real-life versions of themselves.
SpongeBob? Patrick?
Just like in real life, they can't talk and end up trying to eat each other. The French narrator is watching all this unfold, and he says this very important line.
I have been monitoring the behavior of the green moon all day. It is called Neptune's moon. Every 100 years, it de-evolves everyone in Bikini Bottom into primal fish.
Every 100 years, it de-evolves everyone in Bikini Bottom into primal fish. So this implies that the characters in Bikini Bottom are more evolved and were once like these primal fish. But this doesn't prove that the evolution only exists in Bikini Bottom. It could still be a worldwide phenomenon. Remember that bonus DVD clip I found in my television theory? It was about humans studying fish in Bikini Bottom because of their intelligence.
Land-loving scientists have tried to learn the secrets of intelligence.
Their studies led them to the sea, where the citizens of one undersea colony demonstrated a genius so enormous, the scientists felt compelled to record their actions for use in teaching mankind how to live better.
Makes
There's
it
something
sound
like
an awful lot
weirdly
like the fish in Bikini
comforting
Bottom
about
actually are
that
uniquely evolved, and it's not some
but
worldwide
of the
phase. Then, in the SpongeBob
about
20-year
the old-timey
anniversary special,
narrator
SpongeBob's
going
Big Birthday Blowout,
talking
we get a
like
major piece of evidence for this theory.
like that
SpongeBob and Patrick take a
specifically.
tour
I
of the
don't know
surface
what it
world
is.
and eventually go to a fish store and see some very realistic, less evolved fish.
Ooh.
What kind of
And Patrick
monsters
fell
would
in
wanna
love with
keep
one of
fish
them.
folk in jail like this? They're so beautiful.
They can't talk back to SpongeBob and Patrick, and they're actually able to swim freely through the water instead of being affected by gravity. They
So
are
they're
clearly
mutants like
showing us that both
Teenage
evolved
Mutant
and
Ninja
primitive
Turtles or
fish
Godzilla?
exist in this universe at the same time. Now,
More like
sometimes
Teenage
we've seen
Mutant Ninja
Bikini
Turtles,
Bottom
just
characters
without the
represented as
ninja
realistic fish
discipline.
like this, but only when they're out of water, never while they're still in water like these fish. We even see this again in the beginning of the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. The movie opens with a coral reef full of these realistic primal fish,
it's
but
like a
eventually
more,
we get to Bikini Bottom where the
controlled
more
chaos.
evolved fish live. So there you go, direct proof that the citizens of Bikini Bottom are uniquely evolved. This is a very deliberate world-building choice for the creators to make. So I guess that kind of confirms the Bikini Atoll theory. Theory confirmed! We did it! Woo! Well, let's hold on for a second. As much as I'd love to call this theory complete, there's actually one major piece of evidence that gives me some resistance. Something I've never seen anyone else bring up when talking about this theory. Prehistoric Bikini Bottom. We've seen episodes like UGG or SB129 that show Bikini Bottom millions of years in the past, but we still see evolved versions of SpongeBob and Patrick.
I like drawing
Sure, they may
claws.
not be super intelligent or advanced, but they're still clearly way more evolved
Why
than
is
the
that finger
primitive,
thick?
realistic versions we see in Feral Friends or in the fish store. So, how are we seeing these evolutions millions of years before the Bikini Atoll tests? Well, unfortunately, I think the only conclusion is that the Bikini Atoll theory just isn't true. I mean,
Why is
clearly
that-
something has caused Bikini Bottom
why is that
citizens
finger
to be
thick?
uniquely evolved. There's
I'll
no
fix it
denying
when I
that.
do the line
but whatever
art.
caused it took place millions of years ago and couldn't have been the Bikini Atoll nuclear tests. Then what
Ah,
really
shit.
caused the evolution? In the entire show, the only thing we've seen that directly affects the evolution of characters is the Green Moon and Feral Friends. Except the French narrator specifically calls it Neptune's moon.
It is called Neptune's moon.
Named after the ruler of the seven seas, King Neptune. King Neptune is a character who's been around since the beginning of the sea. He's a character who the Bikini Bottom citizens view as their god, and he's a character who has the ability to change fish into other forms.
What the?
King Neptune used his magic to turn the fish of the sea into more evolved subjects for him to rule over. He's the one who's been behind it all this time.
Hey, Alex from the future
It's
here.
not radiation.
So before I move on,
It's
let's talk
magic.
a little more about the Bikini Atoll theory. A lot of people really wanted this theory to be true, and I get it. This is like the most iconic, classic SpongeBob theory. And the comment I got the most on this theory was the idea that the prehistoric Bikini Bottom that disproves the Bikini Atoll theory doesn't actually take place millions of years ago. It's actually the fallout directly after the Bikini Atoll tests when life first started to mutate and evolve in Bikini Bottom. And that's a cool idea, you know, it's a cool way to maybe keep the Bikini Atoll theory. But here's the thing. The narrator actually says it takes place millions of years ago.
It is here that millions of years ago, life began taking its first clumsy steps out of the darkness.
And we see a dinosaur flying above the sea. I'm sorry, this just has to be from the actual prehistoric age millions of years ago. Alright, but here's another comment I got. If this show's all supposed to be a television theory documentary, how were they able to get this footage from millions of years ago? Well, in SB129, Squidward time travels back to the prehistoric age, and obviously the cameraman came with him, otherwise we wouldn't be able to watch the episode. So, unfortunately, no matter how you look at it, there's no way this episode with evolved fish wasn't actually millions of years before the Bikini Atoll tests. I'm sorry guys, the Bikini Atoll theory just can't be true. Or, at least that's what I thought, until I recently rewatched the season 10 episode Lost
it's
and
not
Found.
true?
This episode takes place entirely beneath the Krusty Krab. And if you remember, beneath the Krusty Krab is where the filmmakers store secret behind-the-scenes stuff, like the surveillance room filming the characters, or even props used in the SpongeBob movie. But While SpongeBob is trying to get back upstairs, he passes through this area.
It's all a theory, though.
Lost world.
Oh.
A massive underwater prehistoric area that even has dinosaurs despite it being underwater. The only explanation I can think of for this is, like everything else we see down here, this is a fake set created by the showrunners for an episode of SpongeBob.
Why work on the end of the tail?
The prehistoric
Ooh, I got
Bikini
5
Bottom
minutes
episodes
left.
we see are most likely
Alright, let's see how
faked
much I
by
can
the
do here.
showrunners, and the Bikini Atoll theory could still be true. Also, to further prove this, in a new season 14 episode, Hysterical History, we get another flashback to prehistoric Bikini Bottom, but it's sort of implied to be at the same time as humans existing.
Ouch.
So yeah, really seems like the Bikini Atoll theory is plausible now. I still think both theories for why the fish are evolved work pretty well. Neptune's moon actually shows us some direct evidence of fish becoming more or less evolved, but the actual Bikini Atoll test footage being used throughout the show doesn't really feel like a coincidence to me either. Either of them fit the theory, I like them both, you could just choose your favorite. Let's get back to the theory.
But now, I have an interesting question for you. What is the relationship between evolved fish and primitive unevolved fish? Well, they
that's
probably
fine. I'll
just
work it out
peacefully
later.
coexist in the sea without bothering each other. You know, just like real-life humans and animals. Wait a second.
I also have some new thoughts on the war theory, but I'm gonna save them for the next mini theory. I promise not all these mini theories are like Mrs. Puff Part 2s, but a lot of them kind of build off of the previous theory.
In Season 3, Episode 10, the Krusty Krab training video, there is this hilarious, absurd moment when they're talking about Mr. Krabs.
After the war, Krabs stayed
Somebody using
secluded in
a
a
drill in
deep
there?
depression that seemed endless.
Like, what war happened in Bikini Bottom? They just tell us this and then completely
Yep,
drop
sounds
it.
like a drill.
But with this new context, is it possible that crabs fought in a war against these primitive, wild fish of the sea? I mean, let's remember in Feral Friends, some of those de-evolved fish were massive compared to the
thinking,
evolved
like,
fish.
for
And they
this,
immediately started attacking
maybe
each
using
other.
like the same bat points like I'm using for the ears.
So yeah, in order for the Bikini Bottom citizens to survive and expand,
see
they
how far I
would
can get,
probably break into some kind of war. And from the
see how
sounds
far
of
I
it,
can
this
get with
war
this.
must have been pretty brutal to put Mr. Krabs into such a deep depression. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Is there actually any evidence that proves the war Mr. Krabs fought in was specifically this evolutionary war? Well, through the few flashbacks we get, we know that Mr. Krabs served in the Navy. And yes, they were sailing ships on an ocean, even though they're already underwater. This is actually a real-life phenomenon where certain parts of the sea can have a higher level of salinity, and it looks like an underwater ocean. Shout out Miss Parks, my high school marine biology teacher. We also know from maps of Bikini Bottom that the town is surrounded by this underwater
Yay, Miss
ocean. So that
Parks!
places Mr. Krabs' war outside of Bikini Bottom where this evolutionary war would have to take place. Then if we take a look at Mr.
Marine
Krabs'
biology
home,
is
we see it
actually
is
really
full of memorabilia
fascinating.
from his past days in the Navy. But hidden within here is something that will
I think while I'm doing
absolutely
research
blow
for
your
this,
mind
I can
and answer
research
one of the biggest
different
questions
species
in the show.
underwater as
Hanging
well.
there on his wall is a picture of a massive
Along
whale
with
next to a
the
ship.
mermaid's
You don't think
mythology.
that could be... No, it can't be. Pearl's mother?
Dun dun dun!
I want to find it. Hold up. The things that got my eye right now are the fish and this actual
Yeah, this
person on
actually
the
gets
wall.
really sad. So
there's a whale.
this
Is
part
it the whale?
starts to get
Hanging there on his
really
wall
sad.
is a picture of a massive whale next to
The
it.
whale!
You don't think that could be...
Pearl's mom! I got it!
Moby
Pearl
Dick!
is Mr. Krabs' whale daughter. The show never really explains how a crab can be the father of a whale, but most people just assume she was adopted. People have been speculating about who Pearl's
Don't get on my
biological
case,
mother is
YouTube.
for
I'm talking about
years, and I
literature.
think we
And also my
finally
pen
just
stopped
found our
working.
answer. We see 2 photos
Oh my
of
God,
this
what the
whale
hell?
on a ship in Season 3, Episode 9. Just one episode before we find out Mr. Krabs fought in a war. Since this is among all of Mr. Krabs' Navy stuff, I think we can assume that this is something he encountered and not just some random picture of a whale on a ship above the ocean. The whale is massive compared to the ship. We've seen adult whales in Bikini Bottom before, but they are nothing compared to the size of this whale. This has a much closer resemblance to Pearl when she de-evolved in Feral Friends and became massive. So this has to be an unevolved primitive whale, and the picture clearly shows them fighting. Not only does this prove that there was a war between evolved and primitive fish, but Mr. Krabs definitely fought in it. But this also implies something very dark. Mr. Krabs killed Pearl's mother. The only direct reference we get in the show to Pearl's mother is one of Mr. Krabs' many sayings, Mother of Pearl.
Yeah.
Mother of Pearl! Mother of Pearl! Holy Mother of Pearl!
He uses it
Yo,
in
this
places
actually
something
looks
like
pretty
"Holy
good."
crap" or "Dear God," only saying it when something truly shocking or terrible happens, because he
What do
knows
y'all
the
think?
terrible thing that happened to Pearl's mother. Why did Mr. Krabs go into such a deep depression after the war? Because he's haunted by what he's done, and the smoking harpoon to prove it is right there on his wall.
And he has the harpoon on his wall, dude!
So, that leaves us with an important question. Why did he adopt Pearl? After he killed her mother, he probably realized he
should
had
I
an
keep
infant
going,
daughter who had
or-
the evolutionary genes. Instead of leaving her to die, he adopted her as his own, all while keeping the dark secret that he was responsible for her mother's death.
Okay, whoa. So I obviously just very quickly skimmed over the fact that for some reason Pearl is evolved, but Pearl's mother isn't, and I didn't really provide a good explanation for this.
But what if the mom whale was a normal whale and had a whale baby? Then why would it have been Pearl? Like, she's the evolved form, right? No, that's convenient. She just happened to be evolved. Okay.
Honestly, at the
That's
time,
Cinnamon
I
Toast
didn't
Ken.
really
He's
have
pretty
one,
cool.
but I think I may have a possible explanation now. Whatever caused this evolution, whether it was magic from King Neptune or radiation from nuclear
Oh my
tests,
god, I remember
you know,
the early
whatever it
days
is,
watching
we know it
Cinnamon Toast
happened
Ken
only
play
within a
play
specific
games
range.
with PewDiePie
So
and
you
everything.
could hypothetically have a mother and daughter whale, and only one of them was within range of whatever caused this evolution. You know, it would be nice if there was more evidence in the actual show to explain this, but I think this works as a simple way to explain the logistics of it.
Woo! Childhood ruined yet? Well, don't worry. There's still time for this theory to
Absolutely.
get even worse. Now's your chance to remove yourself before things get really dark.
Football is a bond. A connection that spans
Continue
cities,
at your own
countries,
peril.
and generations.
Fuck football.
Still here? Okay.
I'm not a fan of football. It's the sport's fine itself. It's just the people my family gets a little more animated during football season. They start getting really loud. Speaking of Pearl's mom, I remember listening to a creepypasta called Pearl AVI. .avi. I'll have to look that up later. Let me write that down. Alright.
So here's a fun question. What's the deal with all the pets in Bikini Bottom? How come most fish are basically humans, but a snail or a worm acts like a pet? Well, just like humans have domesticated wild
Which was about a
animals,
lost
it should be no
episode of
surprise
SpongeBob
that
where he
evolved
found out
fish
how
have
Mr. Krabs
domesticated
found
primitive
Pearl
fish as
and what
pets.
happened to her
Unlike
mom.
the massive primitive fish that the Bikini
Ooh, I
Bottom
don't think
citizens
I'm
had to
ready
go to war
for
with,
that
there's
level
also
of sadness.
smaller primitive fish like
I'm gonna look it
jellyfish,
up anyway.
snails, spirit worms, seahorses, and clams that the Bikini Bottom citizens were able to form a symbiotic relationship with. Aw, and I thought you said this was gonna be the dark part, Alex. They're living peacefully together. That's nice. Okay, you got me. Here's another fun
if I can
question.
keep going
Where do
here.
the citizens of Bikini Bottom get their food? I mean, sure, some of it is plant-based, but there sure does seem to be an awful lot of meat-based food under the sea. I think you know where I'm going with this. The Bikini Bottom citizens eat primitive fish. Haha, it's not cannibalism if they're less evolved than you, right? There's no moral dilemma there.
I mean, what the f else are they gonna eat? Sand?
In Season 3, Episode 13, we see direct proof of this when the characters
Also-
go fishing for
also-
primitive clams. This is something
Hello,
completely
Cell.
normal
Welcome
in
to the
this world.
stream.
And then
I
there's
spread
the
the
chum
apocalypse,
which sells
Camilla,
chum.
Digi, Destiny,
Chum.
Champagne, Pearl.
Chum is literally just ground up fish. The show isn't even hiding this. Now, we don't really see too much of the meat harvesting side of Bikini Bottom, and I'm not surprised they're keeping it on the DL, you know,
Writing
with
it
the whole
down.
cannibalism thing. But there is one secret to making food that is kept more secret than anything in Bikini Bottom. The best kept secret in the entire show. You already know what I'm gonna say. The Krabby Patty secret formula. Throughout the show, there's been lots of contradictory evidence about the Krabby Patty secret formula. In Season 4, Episode 7, Mr. Krabs says it's an old family recipe.
Your mother knows the Krabby Patty formula? Of course she does! It's an old Krabs family recipe!
There we
In
go.
Season 5, Episode 1, apparently Mr. Krabs discovered it on his own by accidentally mixing random ingredients together.
I've done it! I discovered the perfect patty batter!
Sometimes it's a secret formula, sometimes it's a book, sometimes it's a secret sauce, and any glimpse we get at the formula is just random nonsense. There is a ton of contradictory evidence out there, but I think this might all be intentional. In order to throw people off, Mr. Krabs has spread misinformation about the Krabby Patty
good
formula.
memories.
In fact, he's already done this in
How are you,
season 3,
Sal? Welcome to
episode
the
18,
stream.
by hiding a fake formula for Plankton to find that says he's the secret ingredient.
Mixed together with the most important ingredient of all, 4 heaping pounds of freshly ground plankton.
And the
Oh
contradictions
God,
aren't
that
just
looks
inside the show. Even
no,
one of the
no.
SpongeBob crew members once said that Krabby Patties are vegetarian and contain no meat. But I've always been a little suspicious about what the creators say.
Alright, that's good.
They've also said that they're not allowed to show fish as food, except they clearly do with chum, clam fishing, and all the many, many gags where fish turn into
Remember,
food.
fish
It's
are friends,
almost like they're
not
not allowed by
food.
Nickelodeon to publicly acknowledge this because that could create a controversy, but they could still sneak this dark
also
secret
doesn't make
into
much
the show.
sense, does
so,
it?
what is the true secret ingredient? Where does
Was
the
that
meat
you drawing?
really come
Oh,
from?
this is
It's
a
strange. We
villain
never
for a
really see
video
Mr.
game idea
Krabs get the meat
I have.
delivered, or at least go out himself to get it. It's almost like he has all the meat he needs stockpiled somewhere.
Oh, well, yeah, I kind of spoiled it, didn't I?
What primitive meat can Mr. Krabs have access to? Maybe he's
Oh, well.
been holding on to something from the war.
But yeah, I'm drawing
What
a
could Mr.
merman.
Krabs have killed during the war that
Had
he
an
doesn't
idea
want
for a video
anyone
game,
to find out about.
and
Something big
designing
enough to
the characters
supply him
for
with
it.
meat for years without needing more. What could that be?
Oh no! You're not about to tell me.
Wait. What could that be?
No! Don't say it! Don't say it!
You really gonna make me say it? Mr. Krabs is using Pearl's dead mother's carcass to make Krabby Patties. Woo! We did it!
Is that-
Yeah, we solved the mystery.
Maybe.
We did it.
How could you be celebrating this?
Season 1, Episode 15, Sleepy Time. Mr. Krabs has a dream that he's on a boat fishing for a massive dollar. This is his memory of killing Pearl's mother, except now all he sees her as is money. And take a guess what name he calls the dollar.
What you doing, Mr. Krabs?
I'm picking Neptune's bucket.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about cold hard flipping cash. It's the mighty Moby Dollar.
Moby Dollar. A direct reference to Moby Dick, a story about hunting a whale. Are you kidding me?
This looks pretty good.
And that
Krabby
is
Patty-
the
patties
evolution
are made
theory.
from
Eugene
crabs.
Krabs' aspirations for money and greed have caused him to do terrible, terrible things. At least his love for Pearl seems to be real, so maybe there's some small amount of good in him. And even though Pearl's mother probably provides tons of meat, eventually he's gonna run out and he'll have to face what he's done. Well, unless of course there's another whale he has access to. Nope. Nope. No.
Unless...
No. Mr. Krabs wouldn't do that. He loves Pearl. He's not just raising her for Krabby Patty meat. Even Mr. Krabs isn't that much of a monster.
From every side I've ever seen to the sweetest sound I've heard, I'd gladly give up everything for all the money that I've earned.
Huh.
Baby, you got something in your nose. Snap that cake. Fill the hole. Hope you find peace for yourself. New boyfriend ain't gon' fill the void.
Well, alrighty then. That's the end of that.
I think
theory.
I
Just
can,
gonna end it here before there's any more dark
do
plot
the
twists.
details in the
Okay,
hair,
so
and then I
a
can
lot
sign
of
off for
people had
sign
issues
off
with
later.
the
I can do
Curl's
this.
mother Krabby Patty theory, specifically the
I can do the
realism
scars
and
like
logic
next time
behind
and
how just
see if I
one
can
whale could create
Well, I'm
enough
probably
Krabby
never gonna-
Patty meat
I'm
for
probably
so
not gonna
many
finish this on the
years.
next
But
stream.
listen, I don't make these theories using real-world logic. I try and use the show's own internal logic. But if you want to bring real-world logic into this and argue about how long whale meat would last, I think the real world
Oh, shit.
actually
Shoot,
supports
yo,
my
I
theory.
should try
When
whale
a
meat
whale
for
dies in the real world
Patty, let's
ocean,
get
it has a
hunting.
very profound effect on the environment. Entire marine ecosystems will form around a decomposing whale corpse, and scavengers can feed off of it for up to 50
Yo, thank you for
years. This is
subscribing.
a phenomenon called whale fall. And
I love
this
how Cinnamon
explains
Toast
why
can-
total chaos breaks out whenever
Oh, I
Bikini
know
Bottom
Cinnamon Toast
runs out of
can,
Krabby
so
Patty.
is PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and Topuscus. Topuscus is the only one that I don't really know.
Aren't you overreacting a bit?
Welcome to the apocalypse, Mr. Squidward.
Just like a real whale fall, the ecosystem of Bikini Bottom is completely dependent on it. Also,
Also, another YouTuber, Athena P, pointed out to me that there's this moment in a newer episode of the Patrick Star Show.
This episode addresses Alex Bale's Krabby Patties are made from Pearl's mother theory pretty directly.
I'm Eugene Krabs. Krabby Patties are made with whale oil.
Oh, there it is. There's a notification. Thanks for subscribing.
So that's something. I mean, take that as you will. So yeah, I still think the Pearl's mother Krabby Patty theory is solid. It's at least better than that crab meat theory that people won't stop commenting about. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna quickly debunk that theory because I know people are still gonna comment about it on this video. Here's an extra bonus mini theory just because this theory annoys me so much.
I'll be on the lookout for it.
He opens the
and of course an ad
takes
plays.
a picture of his car. He asks where the fuse box is, and just like that, Gemini finds.
So that's what I taste like.
So, a lot of people think that Krabby Patties are actually made of crab meat, and Mr. Krabs is going around killing all the crabs in Bikini Bottom. This is the comment I will
What time
get
is it
for
for you
the
guys?
rest of
It's
my life.
3:10 a.m. for me.
Actual crab? I mean, why
Yeah, I'm a
else
pretty
would
late
Mr.
night
Krabs
streamer.
be the only crab in Bikini Bottom? Except for his mom and his dad and his nephews. Okay, but there's no crabs outside.
I'll finish this concept up next stream.
And this doctor.
Then I'll see if I can try to move on to one of the human
besides
forms. For our little friend here. So yeah, thank you for joining and thank you for watching. Only like football because my late uncle is a Dallas Cowboy fan. My grandma, we used to we were, I think it was the Buccaneers that she was a fan of. I'm guessing USA, yep. Alright, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if y'all want to. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye!